And we are back, guys. I have a special guest in the house, and we're going to hang out for just a minute because I only have one viewer in here, and it says that live viewer is me. So we're going to wait a minute.
Good job.
But I don't know why it's not sharing this yet. But
After you just got through telling me that you set up this timer so everything looks right.
If everything
perfect.
looks right and it's good, we're live. It's
Oh,
just
that's great.
waiting for people to show up. But
Love it.
We
There we
focus
go.
on perfection. You know, perfection
Exactly.
is it.
100%.
there's one of my boys. So Michael Bradley. So you'll see. I don't know. Can you see the chat? You know, I don't know if you can see it or not. Okay.
I cannot.
PJ just lets me moderate, and he just kind of hangs out and talks. So
Cool. PJ, we're on the same wave.
Yeah, he'll throw stuff up, and you just got to kind of like find it. And like, oh, okay,
yeah,
something's
it's probably
going
gonna
on.
cover up
Then
your
we get into
like
it.
face at this point. I'm not sure, but
No
I
way.
haven't done this narrow screen thing, so we're gonna see how this all works.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But,
this is like a. I picked the wrong color. I've got a gray wall background. And I'm wearing a gray shirt. Like what?
You mean like with the 75 colors behind me? Yeah, I can
I mean,
totally
it's
understand.
tough. I think I'm just gonna get like a banner or something for like when I do the pod. That way, it's like the same.
Yep.
Figure out what like colorway is best. Put some logos or something on the sides, and then.
So, talk to me because I'll teach you how to green screen, and you can put whatever you want behind
Yeah,
you.
but green screen is weird. Green screen.
Not if you do it right. You'd be surprised.
Just like you did the intro, right?
I've been sitting on a boat in podcasts before. People didn't know I wasn't like not in my living room.
Sweet.
I used to have my wife behind me when I did my podcasts, and people didn't know. So
Boy, gotta have the
for all you know, that's a green screen. It's just a really messy one.
I know,
Who knows?
right? I mean,
So, all right, guys, we got a few people in here. So, for those of you who are not familiar with our guest, I wasn't either until I went to the trade show. So, to be honest, it's new to everybody. She's kind of got a small channel, but she's going to be going on a big adventure, a bunch of big adventures, really, this summer. So, I wanted to bring her on to introduce her channel, introduce her to you, because not only is she going to be going on a big adventure, but whether she likes it or not, she's going to be doing a bunch of fishing with me in May. So
I'm excited.
I'm gonna let her take it away and talk about her channel a little bit, and then we'll just go down the typical rabbit holes that we always go down.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Janelle Orsino, but you might know me as Enthusiast Adventure over on YouTube. Or if you follow my podcast, I have the Adventures Audio Podcast. Basically, I grew up having the best of both worlds. I would switch between going to the beach on the weekends, going to the mountains. It didn't matter which sun. So I have a lot of experience in the outdoors. Kayak fishing is my number one passion, but I love everything to do with the outdoors. And that's exactly what my YouTube channel is about. It's called Enthusiast Adventure because I got some energy. Okay, I've got some ADHD, and it goes sometimes. But I don't discriminate. I do airsoft, I do bushcraft, survival, fishing, all of that stuff. So yeah, and like he said, I'm going on a big trip. I've got a short school bus that I have converted basically into a tiny house rig setup. I've got this really awesome electric e-bike that can take me off-road, and we're going to be getting into some really cool adventures coming up this year, and I'm super excited about it. And also, thank you for having me on the show. So yeah, it's a little rundown of me.
Did you catch the enthusiast part, guys?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I'm trying to be toned down.
No, don't be.
You don't have to on this show.
Oh, okay,
No.
good.
This
That's why I'm
is
sitting
this
away
is
from
the
mic.
opposite of
Yeah, all right.
It's
Cool.
this is probably the least structured podcast that I'm part of, and I'm at the point now where I'm part of a lot of them. So
You are.
I mean, hell, I'm probably going to be on yours a few times more, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm really
But-
excited to do the one about, like, content creating and all that. Like, I'm so stoked about that one. I was thinking about that one the other day. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get somebody to do that, so because there's just, like so much stuff to it. It's
There
it's
is.
insane.
And, like, when I met my friend Marissa, who lived out of a Sprinter van, she now has a fifth wheel trailer camper, and,
Product
before I met
placement,
her-
sponsor me.
Soraya loves Monster, so before every video she goes, the adventure starts with a monster. She's trying to get sponsored.
Hey, you know, they throw money around.
I know, right?
Pepsi and Monster, man, those two companies will they'll sponsor a fucking raccoon race. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, those companies, you see Monster and Mountain Dew logos on some of the weirdest sports. Like,
even Red Bull.
Yeah, they're like, we're doing snapping turtle races brought to you by Livewire, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
but it's accurate. Those are the
dude, it's
that are drinking that
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, but
yeah.
And I will admit I'm a little off today because I'm still trying to recover from ice fishing. So
listen, I had at work today, all of our systems were down, so we were using like an off-brand scanner and like doing everything manually. So like that's fun. And I worked an extra hour, so I had like a real good time today doing customer service. So
so you were really loving the fact that I was sending you, hey, look, ice, and hey, look,
you're an
fish.
asshole for that.
So I sent a picture. So I'm going fishing with bear fishing tomorrow. And he's working too, and I sent him a picture of that trout, and he was like, dude, maybe we should just go to Waterbury like you're going tomorrow. I'm like, no, I want to go to the lake we're going to. And then he's like, okay, and then I literally, the first thing I did is took that picture as soon as I sent it to him, and I got literally the classic fishing buddy response. I got, fuck you,
yep, nice
fish, but fuck you. I was like,
I thought that in my head, but I was like, nice one. I was nice.
No, call me out. That's if I send you a fish like that, and I'm probably sending it to you because I know you're at work. Because I also expect that when I'm at work, I'm gonna get those pictures too.
That's okay, but because I work part-time, like I only worked 5 hours today, but I picked this job because it's lighter, even though it can still be heavy at times. But like, it's a good grind for me. So like, I was happy to be at work knowing that I'm making money to save up for these adventures and these fishing trips. So I was like happy to be working, giving it my all. And now I'm just like, okay, podcast mode, fishing mode. Like I have the saltwater bug for some reason right now. So I've been looking at surf fishing stuff and like trying to get that ready because apparently the season opens in like a couple weeks. So here we go.
You know what's funny is partly why not that I didn't want to bring you on otherwise, but PJ kind of got into he joined the Jeep family. Yeah. And he's gonna start doing some Jeep camping, and he's big into like fly fishing and all of that. So
he's gonna be doing the weekend, dude. Like that's what I did the entire last weekend.
Nice.
Slept out of my Jeep. I drove back to Pennsylvania. I stayed in my buddy's driveway one night, stayed there, nice. And woke up, got a shower at his place, and then I drove like up into the mountains, and I went to this brewery, and I was just sitting there, trying beers and stuff, and kind of talking to the bartender about different beers and stuff. And he's like, what are you doing, up here? And I kind of told him what I was doing. I said, I'm, staying in my Jeep. I don't have anywhere to go. And he was like, my brother has a business in town, and it's closed over the weekend. He's like, he's got a huge parking lot in the back. I'll call him and see if you can stay in his parking lot. It's free. You don't have to worry about anything. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I set up shop in this parking lot behind this building, had like 8 cameras all over the place. So I felt kind of safe.
You felt kind of safe and kind of watched at the same time?
I felt kind of safe. I'm like, okay, I got cameras everywhere, so if something does happen, at least it's going to be caught on film.
Yeah, at least I'll be able to, when I get arrested for loitering, at least I'll be able to have it on film.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's still a few bugs I got to work out. I don't have the like the reflective up against my windows. So when the sun comes up, dude, you're up. You're up.
You had nothing in the windows, like
I had
nothing at
nothing
all.
in the windows. Nothing. My windows are tinted.
Yeah.
But I have a headband, and I put the headband over my eyes, and I slept like that there. But still, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, you're up. You're up.
When I was in Massachusetts, so I saw this hack on somebody who lives out of a van. His channel name is Van City Van Life. I don't know if you're familiar with him. It's him and his bulldog, lives in his van in Canada, super cool dude. But when he started, he would go to the dollar store and he would use like that thicker poster board, and he would cut that out and put that.
I was gonna say cardboard, dude. I've done it with cardboard.
But the nice thing about it is when the condensation happens, it doesn't warp. If you use the regular cardboard or paper, it's going to warp.
warps.
That foam is really nice. You can lower your window. You can like trace it from one side. Then you can cut it. And it fits nice and snug. It's blackout, so it's no problem. It's super lightweight. It's $1 or $2 per sheet. It's either 2 for $1 or it's 1 for, $1 or something. And works great. So that's what I used when I was in Massachusetts. And
you literally use a box cutter and cut it in and then just shove it in there.
Use my multi-tool. Yeah, it was great. Yep. So try it.
I'll have to try it because I just ordered right before I left. I called and ordered the rain guards, the vents.
Yep.
So I didn't get the condensation, and I was like, "Oh man, I hope these things show up before I leave." Because I was leaving Friday, they showed up Wednesday. Popped them right in, super simple. They just popped right in, and I took off.
You know what the other thing you need?
What's
the other thing you need, and they make them for Jeeps 100%, is they make a screen that goes on the outside of your window, and it's elastic.
Oh, yeah.
So that you can roll your window down and get airflow, but the screen keeps the bugs from getting in.
See, that's gonna be my summertime thing.
Yeah,
like right
he's
now,
not
I'm
ready.
still doing
not.
that.
Nope, he's not in there right now. He's in like
Still
late
doing the winter thing.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
I
dude,
was
those
super
screens
warm.
work awesome.
That was the best.
I was warm too. It was 28 degrees outside, and I was in a few blankets, and I was actually warm. Like it was.
Yeah,
cool.
I got the I don't have the 0 degree. I think I got like the 10, the 10 degree sleeping bag. Dude, I got in that there. The first night at my buddy's house, I slept with like my hoodie on. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I took my hoodie off, and I'm like, "Man, this is ridiculous." And then I slept for like another 2 hours. So like the next night, whenever I stayed up there, it was a little bit colder, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go t-shirt if I have to.
Put it on.
The hoodie's right here. I'll put it on. But it was, I had no issues whatsoever. Like I said, the only downside was 5:30 in the morning, I was up. So like 5:30 at night, I was ready to crash, dude.
Yeah.
I called my wife and I'm talking to her and I'm like, I'm laying down. I can't talk any longer. I have to go to sleep because I've been up for 12 hours and this damn dog across the street is barking. I just want to crash out here. And I did. It was Super Bowl Sunday and I'm like, I'm asleep by 5:30.
Man.
Like everybody's messaging me like, "You watching the game?" I'm like, "No, dude, I'm sleeping." I'm racked out.
You're in like your peaceful little like cubby, and it's just like so nice. And you're just, even if you're freezing cold, you're still like, you have a smile on your face because we're idiots. Like we're idiots who love being miserable doing something that we love. And but it's so nice. Like it's so.
The first night when I stayed in my buddy's driveway, I have like the pad, and then I got like my air mattress underneath it. My air mattress slid, and I was just laying on the pad, and I was like, "Ooh, boy!" So I'm trying to do like the slide it over without getting out of the sleeping bag.
But you gotta get out of the sleeping bag.
Yeah, you have to. I tried to do the slide over without moving, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I wasn't miserable because, like you said, I was doing something that I chose to do.
Yeah.
So it was all me. Yeah, I chose it. But man, I was having a blast. Like I got up, and I had my little burner, make my coffee. I had my AeroPress, pounding coffee out. And I'm like, this is great. It doesn't get any better than this,
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I lived off of Dollar Tree meals and the cheapest Coleman propane stove I could find. And I had no mattress. I literally just slept in the back of the truck on the seats with like house blankets and a couple of sleeping bags. That was it. And my pillows. Like, I was like, I need to do it on a budget and I need to do it just with whatever I've got. And I was every time I would like wake up or do something, I would just be thinking in the back of my head, like, I am so happy, even though this is like not it. Like there's no system, there's no setup, it's just mayhem. But I was so happy. Like even when I was freezing cold, I'd be like, I'll just turn the heat on for a little bit, warm up, or like, oh, I gotta fix this, it's fine. Like once you get comfortable, because like at first you have the nerves of like people are gonna be looking at me and I don't want to have a confrontation or whatever. Once you get through that, it's usually like the first 2 days or day, you're sailing. Like you're just.
See, that was my game plan. I wasn't sure what my game plan was going to be because I had no idea where I was going. So I'm like, okay, I'll look for a campground. And I found a few campgrounds up that way. And I'm like, okay, I'll just stop in or I'll call and I'll see. And I'm like, nah, I really don't feel like, I don't really want to do that. So I was like, I'll just stay in a Walmart. That'll be fine. Like And I'm like, I really don't know if I'm not even familiar with this area, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to stay in Walmart. And then luckily, like I say, just bullshitting to this guy at the bar, at the brewery.
Yeah.
And he would like hook me up with this parking lot. And I'm like, he's like, my brother don't care as long as you don't leave any trash. And I'm like, dude, what?
It's
I'm,
also-
Yeah.
It's
I'm,
really
not, I'm not doing
beautiful.
anything.
Right. It's really beautiful and awesome to see also how good people are too. And like how willing they are to help you out or just whatever. It's like you would never expect, and then boom, like you're set up. It's like the little things, man. Yeah.
That's my buddy was like, you know, you can come back and stay in my driveway. And I'm like, dude, it's 2 hours back to your place.
Oh God, no.
And then I got to drive 2 hours back up here tomorrow just that, you know, because I wanted to do stuff up there and check the area out and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm not driving 2 hours to your place to crash, to drive 2 hours back to look at this area. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it, you know? And
Yeah.
so I got to figure that part out.
Oh, I thought it was going to pop over you. Apparently, it goes over me.
Yeah.
I
we're
see
talking
it. I
about
can
it.
see it for this first saltwater trip. Oh boy. Is that for me?
That's for you.
So last year we went on me and my wife, we went on my like first surf fishing trip since I was probably 10. And we were catching fluke and little croakers. She calls them farty fish because she thinks it's when she was little. She said it sounds like they're farting. So probably fluke and croakers, but the striper are going to be coming in soon and moving their way through. So it's going to be I'm going to have setups for both, but fluke or flounder. They call them fluke. Okay, I'm from South Jersey. We call them flounder. My wife's from North Jersey. Call them fluke. Just like what?
I wouldn't know the difference between them, so it wouldn't matter to me. But
Flounder.
So the
Hell
video
with it.
that I watched that you just put up a few days ago was a surf fishing video.
that was that
Yes,
video.
and you caught that flounder. And I will say this much. It popped up when I was looking at things.
Oh boy.
I was the first viewer.
You were? Woo-hoo!
Yeah, it said
He
no
told me
views.
that,
I
yeah.
was like, yeah.
yeah, I was like, "Hey, we're having this girl on." And he's like, "Actually, I just watched her video." It was the
Happy
first
to
viewer.
have you. Welcome.
That's so funny.
I didn't
So-
think that I had content for that. Like, I know that I had the GoPro on me, but I didn't think that I really had enough for the video. And then when I watched it back, I was like, oh, I can put something together. Like, it's not terrible. So I did. So
So where were
that-
you at when you shot that video?
we, I want to say Sandy Hook. No, that's wrong. That's a really great question. If you take the highway and you drive about an hour from us down, I don't really know. To be honest, I don't know. I could ask my wife right now and I could get that answer for you.
So you were like in
yeah.
like
New
Texas?
Jersey,
New
New
Jersey.
York
Oh,
area.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought you were down south. Okay.
Oh no, sorry, no. So I
No,
live
no.
in North Jersey right now. My parents are in South Jersey, so
Mhm.
that's kind of border. So like this year, I'm definitely going to be doing more trips up north to the beach, and then also going down towards like Wildwood, Cape May, which is like the very end
okay.
of New Jersey.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm excited. So excited.
Can't
yeah.
even tell.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell. Yeah, I mean, did you hear me? So if you watched the video, did you hear me laughing for like 5 minutes for no reason after I caught the flounder? I was like, and I'm like, I have to keep it in, like it's authentic, and I was like so pumped.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I had another one get off, which I don't think I had that on footage, and then we had this guy come. We were talking to him, and yeah, my wife was a little upset because I outfished her a little bit, and I was not trying to. I wasn't, because it's like, again, that's her wheelhouse.
Sure.
I was just I was genuinely just trying to be the student, but because I can't sit still, I had to get out and I had to do some surf, like some casting on the surf. And then boom, I caught my flounder, and I was like, sweet. And we made some really delicious, it's not papaya. Yep. We made a really delicious dinner with that flounder. Forget what it's called. I'll remember in a minute, but it was.
I
Really
know
good.
what you mean. I can't think of what it's called.
It's
though.
with the corn and the.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Every time.
She's currently Googling it. You watch.
I am,
There
I
she
am.
goes. She's off. If you make it to PJ's neck of the woods, you guys should do a little like video. PJ
Will.
goes out in his Jeep. You go out in the bus. So she's got like a. Is that what's the length of the bus that you? I forget what you
I
told
have
me
a
this.
5-window schoolie, and the inside dimensions are like 7 by 13 or so, and then you have
Yeah.
from the seat forward. So.
So she basically is modifying a short bus into a camper, like
Yeah.
complete
So
with
you can
wood
park
stove.
my Jeep in her bus,
Yeah.
irregardless.
Yes.
You could
So,
well
yeah.
if you built some ramps, I think it'd be cooler for you to park on her roof.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
And then send a picture to Jeep, and then she could probably get a Jeep sponsorship out of the deal. Like, look at what's on my roof.
Nothing would look more redneck than a
I love
Jeep
it.
with 35s
On the roof of a
on the
painted
roof
school
of a
bus.
schoolie.
That's true. It's called
Yep.
polenta. So we made polenta
Okay, yeah.
with salsa. So it was, and then the fish and cilantro. It was really nice. I say it wrong. I say papaya every single time, and I
Yep.
know it's not that. It's not a fruit or whatever the hell.
No, that's
But
fine.
yeah, so I didn't want a full size school bus because I just felt like that was too much for me. So I went with the shorter one, and I think it's like the perfect fit. I'm putting like a 4 or 5 foot like deck off the back. It's gonna have the e-bike, my generator, a bunch of jerry cans, the kayaks, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's super awesome.
I meant to ask you when we did. So, for those of you who don't know, I went on her podcast first,
We did.
and I think we're still talking since we started talking on that podcast. It was like 5 hours straight of just talking. I'm
we
sure
have
half
3
of it
parts.
didn't even end up. Yeah, I was
No,
gonna
it
say
all
like,
ended up. Are you kidding me?
That's
That's all
funny.
good content. I'm using all of it.
we didn't even like introduce. Like, we literally jumped in and this was like, hey, what's up? Let's talk. And then it was like she called me on the phone and we just talked for 5 hours. It was the most like informal podcast ever. But
That's fine,
More
'cause
than
it's
ours?
natural. Yeah, that's
More
why it fits
informal
so
than
well.
ours?
my wife was concerned until I explained that she also has a wife, so it was okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
I also
It's like,
have
yeah,
a wife.
she's not interested in that. No, she's also married to a woman, so it's okay.
She would kick your ass.
But no,
my wife.
did you? I was gonna ask. Like, I know you said you had planned on doing, and I don't know if this has come out yet. So people that want to listen to her podcast, just plug your earmuffs.
Yeah.
But
Bob.
did you have like a schedule that you're planning on trying to do for your travel, or is it kind of be fly by night? Just like, I didn't know if you're like, I'm gonna be in Vermont this month and
Right.
Maine this month, or if you're just like kind of like, fuck it, let's go to Pennsylvania today.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a cabin in Pennsylvania, so I'll be up there all the time.
Really?
But
Where's your
yes,
cabin in Pennsylvania?
so
Because
our
I have one
family,
there.
our family has a 10 acres in Halstead, Pennsylvania, which is like right near the Susquehanna. It's near Binghamton. Yeah, and it almost is very close to the border of like New York and
Okay.
PA. So it's 3 hours from the South Jersey house. And yeah, that's where I said I grew up like splitting time. Like we would camp in my grandfather's camper, like 8 of us. And then you'd have like all the brothers in their tents outside, but we got the camper because we were younger. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's still in the works to figure out what the game plan is. So my wife and I are trying to figure out if we want to get a house because it's the mortgage or the payments is the same as this apartment, and we don't really have a lot of space here.
Yep.
I can't park the bus anywhere here because I'm in Newark. Like I'm in the middle of it's too crowded. It's too sketchy. It's just we don't have that space.
You got too many Jets fans around. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, fuck that shit. And and the plan is to have this thing registered up and ready for May. There's like we go to May every year we go to Champlain for a week. That's going to be about the 3rd week of May. So either I'm leaving before then or I'm going to that trip and then I'm going to linger in Vermont for a little bit, hang out with you, do some cool stuff, do some exploring on my own. Come back home. I have a family cruise. Also, I'm not made of money, but I have a family cruise in June. And then after that, it's kind of like I want to figure out what I want to do. I'm also turning 30 in August, so I don't know if I want to do like a fish of a lifetime type trip and like go somewhere to target something. Like, you know what I mean? Like have a trip that's specifically kind of like to celebrate my birthday. You have the tournament on the Susky in August too, so like we have a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
I haven't quite honestly figured that part out. I thought I had a basic plan because it was just to do like the whole US, just like zigzag. But if we are getting a house, I think it's going to be more like dedicate a couple weeks to traveling, making that content, coming home for a little bit, being at home base, seeing the wife, like doing that stuff, doing some adventures here because I've got stuff all around here, and then hitting the road again. I also have to figure out funds. Like I have some money from our wedding, I get that, but also like I have to pay some bills and got some other stuff to work out. But
Yep.
I think I'm gonna be traveling mostly, and then come home, and then she'll see me, and then I'm gonna be traveling more, and she'll be coming
Yep.
with me sometimes.
And
But
to be fair, like New England in general, you could get away with like
yeah,
Pennsylvania, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, like those alone. If you wanted to stay local and go for a
Yeah.
few weeks and come back, there's thousands of I mean, Vermont alone, there's like
I know.
all kinds of crap, especially with because her channel. For those of you who didn't catch that part, is her channel isn't just fishing. It's like bushcraft. It's camping. It's fishing. It's
Survival.
starting fires in the woods for no reason,
Yeah,
and
for no reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
killing small furry creatures and skinning them and eating them, whatever she wants to
I have
do.
not done that on my channel yet, and I would not do that without actually like harvesting it and eating it. That is not responsible at all, sir. Don't you dare sit on my good name.
Hey, these are fishermen. They're like, hey, she kills squirrels? Okay, I'll watch.
Yeah, she's got a 22 shotgun and a blah blah blah, and she's out there killing and eating what she's got.
Yeah.
But yes, I want to do all of that. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing is figuring out what content I'm doing, or like when I go
Right.
on a trip, okay, what kind of content can I do in this area to also maximize content and also have fun experiences and collaborate with people. That's the other thing. I want to collaborate with people. So that's going to be a whole scheduling thing in itself of being like, okay, reach out to these people. What time frame do you have? Can I make that happen? All right, let's do it. And is it worth it? Like as much as I want to go fishing with you tomorrow, I can't make that drive.
I tried to get her to go.
I
with me,
know.
PJ.
And
I
dude,
asked her so many times.
if you were like closer and I had the money, I don't right now, so I have to go to work. But that's
I was like, I literally asked her like before she I was on her podcast. I was like, you should come fishing Monday, and then she's like, maybe, I don't know, and then I'm like, hey, you going fishing Monday? And then I'm like, I'm going fishing Monday. Let's go fishing Monday. You want to go fishing Monday?
I said yes immediately, and I was like, life, like fuck me, you know what I mean? Like I want to be irresponsible and just go. But like I said, I got to get the funds and everything right to be able to do that. Because like going to the expo and doing that stuff, I told you I was doing that on the smallest budget that I possibly could because I don't have the money to just be throwing around. And I still spent a good amount of money on stuff, but like that was an amazing experience. I want to do more of that, but you have to make the money to do it. So, and I'm fortunate. I don't have kids. I don't have, well, might have a house, but still it wouldn't be crazy. Like I don't have things that completely hold me down. So I can be more malleable and modular and like hit the road and do the thing. Still got.
How far is Mohegan from you?
I don't know. What the hell is Mohegan?
It's a casino in Connecticut.
Ew. Sorry, I don't gamble.
No, the reason why I'm asking is because the next trade show that Abe's at is at the Mohegan.
Mohegan. That says Pennsylvania. You said Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell that?
I think it's called the Mohegan Fishing Expo or Mohegan
you're such a
outdoor show.
Now you're just giving me all this Is this how he is? PJ, he just throws shit out. Oh my god.
You haven't seen nothing.
Yeah.
You realize that, like, the fishing trip tomorrow, I literally messaged Bear, like, 3 days ago, and I said, here's the deal. Even if there's no ice, we're going to meet up, we're going to do a podcast, we're going to record B-roll, we're going to make weird demo videos. I'm like, if we have to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and walk around and just record baits and just throw them at each other, we're making content.
People
Like, that's just how my brain works. Like, I'm like, we'll get in the parking lot of Dick's and just, like, sword fight with fishing poles. Like, I don't care. Like, we'll make something.
With fishing poles and chopping carts and a pool noodle over your head.
I was gonna. The reason why I asked is because
fun right there.
See,
it does sound like okay. Let's do it. What Walmart can we meet up in to do it?
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour and 45-minute drive.
Okay, so it's a little rough then.
It's
on a weekend.
It's on a week. Dude, I picked my schedule, so that's not necessarily the problem.
Okay.
The other problem is, so I'm dog sitting next today. Oh my god, what day is today?
I think this is in March, so.
On Friday, I'm dog sitting. On Saturday, I'm going to Lancaster. I will be with my mom and a bunch of our friends for a whole week doing scrapbooking stuff. Yes, I love the outdoors, but I also love crafts and DIY stuff. So I'm actually going to be making a bunch of decals for like my kayak, the bus,
Nice.
a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of editing. So I'll be away for that week, and then I got to figure out how to like get a shift in there. But so I'm kind of crazy booked. I honestly forgot that I had that trip. I know my mom's not watching this right now, but I kind of forgot until they were like, "Hey, send us the money," and I was like,
If you know her mom, tag her mom in this video. Just
my mom wouldn't even know how to. My mom wouldn't even know how to do.
Nobody's mother watches this podcast.
No.
So let's just
but
throw
it was
that
so-
out there.
my mom doesn't even watch this podcast. So.
It's so sweet because I was talking to Mike about this. Like, my mom is not the outdoorsy person like my dad is, but my mom tries. So she goes to Vermont with us. She'll outfish us, not knowing what the fuck she's doing. But she's like the sweetest human. And I told her, like, this year I'm focusing on YouTube and I'm focusing on my podcast. I'm working part-time and I'm going to grind. Like, I'm really going to try to do this. And she was like,
Yep.
do you need me to listen to your podcast? Like, do you need people to listen to? I was like, Mom, you will not like the type
you're
of
not
stuff
gonna
that I'm
enjoy it.
talking about. She's like, but you should start telling people to listen. And I'm like, okay. But I don't think our family demographic is really what we're going for there.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say don't let your wife or your mom listen to our episodes until after we hang out in May, because then they'll be like, yeah, don't fucking hang out with that redneck from
I
Vermont. That's
told
not a
you.
good idea.
my wife is a firefighter.
Fair enough.
You have
Fair enough.
nothing
Okay.
on her, man. She's hardcore. But also, she can put on a dress, makeup, and heels, and you'd never fucking know how badass she is.
Oh,
I have
here
the
we
best
go.
of both worlds. I have the best of both worlds. She's incredible. What's this? What does this comment say? Read it to
Another
me.
question for you.
Woohoo!
Have you ever fished for tog? Apparently, that's popular with fishermen in New Jersey. I'm summarizing it.
My dad has. I have not, or at least I might have been very young. Because it's familiar to me. So, like, some of the first memories I have of fishing is going out on my uncle's saltwater boat with my life jacket that was bigger than me, being handed a rod and like taking a few cranks and then giving it back to my dad because like I couldn't even stand over the ledge of the boat.
That's funny.
Catching flounders and stuff. But yeah, I might have. That's a question for my dad. I think I have at some point when I was young enough to not really remember. But
It's funny because I see all these people that like catch all these like saltwater fish, and they're like, "Oh, that's a red-breasted purple snapper," and I'm like,
I don't
"How
know
the
if
fuck
that's a
do you
real-
know?" Like they just rattle off like these weird names, and it's
That's
like
it.
he'll catch like three. Like Bear did it, and when he went to Cuba, he caught like three
Oh.
fish in a row, and he was like, "This one's that," and I'm like, "How do you?" That looks exactly the same as the fish you just caught that you said was like something entirely different.
Mike, you know the difference between a largemouth and a smallmouth, right?
Yeah, because one's brown and one's green.
You know the difference between a muskie, a pike, and a pickerel, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, shut
So
the fuck up.
no,
You
no,
do
for
now.
real, for real.
Come
For-
on, dude. Come on. Now.
I've
Come
never
on,
s-
these people.
I've
Come on,
never
these
seen a
people.
muskie because they don't have them here. We don't have
Okay,
muskie
but
here.
you know what a okay.
I know what a muskie looks like, but a pickerel and a pike, I had no idea they were different species. Seriously, until I started doing the Jigs and Bigs multi-species tournament, I
Oh,
submitted
yeah.
a pickerel as a northern, and Sean gave me shit about it. Not only did he DQ the fish, but then he literally texted me and like, dude, that's a pike. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know there was a fucking difference. I just thought a pickerel was a small pike.
Okay, but you know the difference between a largemouth and a smallmouth. This is where some
Well, yeah.
people wouldn't even. Okay, well, yeah. Some people wouldn't know the fucking difference.
True,
But
fair
that's
enough,
what they
but
fish, so they know the different species. Come on, I know
Yeah, but-
a yellow
yeah, some
perch
might
from a
know-
crappie to a white perch to a bass to a catfish to a. Come on.
See,
I
some of them
caught a
might know-
fucking white perch and I thought it was a crappie. I don't know shit about fish species. Like, I know yellow perch. That's the one I know.
Yeah, good job.
And
Hence the
largemouth and
reason why we're
smallmouth
having
are
biologists on a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah,
Hence
exactly.
the reason for this.
gonna ask him a bunch of these questions.
Chart. That's why they make fishing charts for people like you, Big Mike.
Exactly. I caught a fucking brown and I called it a rainbow at first.
Oh, you're an idiot
No, you
for
did
that.
not.
because-
I did.
You
That
did
brown,
not.
today. The brown I caught last year on Lake Dunmore. I literally pulled it out of the water and I'm like, look, it's a rainbow. And I'm like, no, that's not a rainbow. Never mind.
You know the
Like,
The
I
only
had
reason
no
I'm
idea.
shaking my head, Janelle, is because I am a trout fisherman. That's
Yeah,
what I
that's what he
target
does.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's all I go for.
Yeah. Now, where are you from, PJ?
I'm originally from Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and we moved to Ohio, so I kind of call Ohio home. Hence the reason why I got the Ohio
Yeah, I
State
see
shirt
it.
on, the Ohio
Yeah.
State stuff
I
behind
do
me.
like Ohio State. They're cool.
Yeah, and we lived there for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
I currently live in Indiana right now, but we're trying to get back home, the Pennsylvania, Ohio area. And for 4 years, we lived in Alabama.
Is that where the Southern twang come from?
No, the Southern twang comes from Pennsylvania.
Does it come from Pennsylvania? You're part of that part of Pennsylvania. You got the twang. I got you.
Yeah. And everybody looks at me, they're like, what part of West Virginia are you from? And I'm like, never lived there. You know, but we're so close to West Virginia. And if you look at a map, Pittsburgh is right there, you know. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's where you're at.
Yeah, so I'm Pittsburgh.
Okay, sweet. Yeah,
we don't like the out east. You can split Pennsylvania in half. It's like Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania. Yeah, you're either a Steelers fan or somebody else.
My brother's a Steelers fan, but he's a traitor. It's fine.
Yeah, see, I love him already. I don't even know him.
I don't know when the last time he went fishing was. Well, actually, he goes with his daughters sometimes, and he uses their little push button pole.
Hey.
My nieces are adorable, but they don't.
Zebco 404s catch bass just as easily as a Shimano Corrado. I'm just saying.
Those frozen push buttons can hold their own. Okay.
I will tell you though, don't put braid in them.
Oh, never.
I tried it. It's not a good idea. I wanted to do it just for the fun of it, just to see what would happen. And let me tell you, as soon as you reel it one revolution, it cuts that fucking braid straight off.
I want to get like the $80, whatever it is, the bullet, the push button, and put that on a casting rod and like do a whole video on that. One day when I have the budget for it. Right now I got to buy saltwater gear.
Yeah.
And apparently I need trout stuff too because I'm getting together with PJ and we're going to do
There you go. I mean, you don't even have to buy anything. I got backups, and my backups have backups. You know what I'm saying? Like I got backups to backups and backups.
And multiple kayaks, so you're good.
Yeah, I got multiple kayaks. I got multiple fly fishing rods, multiple spinning rods, multiple
you can
casting
teach me how to
rods.
fly fish.
Yes, I mean
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm here for. Just make connections.
Pennsylvania, you know. I mean, that's the whole reason for going to my cabin, is to go to my cabin, unwind, not be that me. I can be a different me, 100%. And in that world, that's my world.
Yeah, the outfits that I wore as a kid when we were at the cabin, and we still like looked better than the people that like when we would go to town. We still were like, "Oh, this isn't even bad." Like,
yeah.
But it was great. Had a knife strapped here, like belt that was loose, and camo pants, and like a pink shirt or whatever the hell. And
well, that's how I look today, ice fishing. So.
Well, I mean, I think that's your brand.
And it kind of is. If you could see, like, it's funny. I actually am going to do it this year. I'm going to take a picture. So when me and Bear are in the bass boat doing like a collaboration, it looks fucking ridiculous because you've got him in the back of the boat and me in the front of the boat, and then you've got this weird duct tape apparatus between us holding 3 fucking cameras, run to battery banks, and like there's just wires and cables everywhere, and there's duct tape and zip ties and like.
I need to like build you like a custom thing so that you have like a nice actual.
Oh, it's cleaner now.
I don't care.
But it was
sound good.
it was awful. I actually duct taped his. I didn't even duct tape. I gorilla taped his tripod to the boat so it wouldn't keep tipping over when I did a hook set, and like because 340 pounds of hook set, it shakes the boat a little bit in that little bass tracker.
Oh, my poor dad! I'd be standing on the back of the boat and I'd switch sides and I would just see him in the front, just lose everything.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's funny because you think like you have this weird delusion that like a bass boat is stable. It's not.
No.
It's really not. Like when you walk from side to side in a bass boat, I think, to be honest, in some situations my bass boat's less stable than my fucking kayak.
I was just gonna say that.
We've had this discussion. I feel safer in my kayak than I do fishing with any of my buddies in their boat. I'm paranoid as hell. I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
What's my go-to?
There you go.
Best bait. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Okay. So if I'm okay, here we go. I'll break it down. If I'm fishing in
She's like, what's the barometric pressure and what longitude, latitude am I in?
It just depends on where I am. I became a chatterbait enthusiast about 3 years ago. So a chatterbait is a good go-to because where I live, it's very sloppy and gross. So I run like the Mini Max chatterbait, and it runs pretty shallow, so like it doesn't get caught in the weeds too much, and I can fish it pretty nice. If I am going, if I'm going somewhere where there's more rocks and stuff, I love a Ned rig or a crawl. Yeah, or a frog. Like let's be honest, we all have a frog tied on. If we're going largemouth fishing, it doesn't matter the time of year. So
what do you use for a trailer on that Minimax, or do you use a trailer?
On that Mini Max, I do the Z-Man elastic, probably like 4-inch swim baits.
Okay.
And I like to super glue them to basically in the early spring, I'll throw one on there, and I probably don't change it for about a month because it has that elasticity, and it'll last me pretty much the whole, like one bag will last me like the whole season.
Like the little ones, like the TRD swims or whatever the hell they're called?
The step up from the TRD swim, so the 4 or 5 inch. I'll look up the name of them, but yeah.
I've struggled to catch anything on those, and I bought them because smallmouth. Like I thought, like small chatterbait, smallmouth are gonna love this thing, and I can't figure out how to catch on them.
Soraya has her personal best 5'2" largemouth on a white and chartreuse, and I have a couple 4s, close to 5s on that Mini Max. In Vermont, black and blue, actually. That was the year that
black and blue is, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I casted, the water level was pretty high. We were in Carey's Bay. So it's got all of that grass, and then there's like a line of trees, and the water was so high up that like we could fish in those trees. So I cast it as far in as I could, and I'm reeling it in, and I saw a bunch of bait fish jump, and I like paused for a second, and then this big, like 4'6" largemouth just came and destroyed it. Took the rod out of my hand. Like I don't have that video up, but when you see the hook set, I'm like, because I wasn't expecting like that big of a bite. And whichever way I set the hook, I think she went the opposite way because it looks funny as hell.
I've had a bunch of like hits like that. So chatterbait. Now I think about it, chatterbait. I get a lot of pike that will like torpedo under my kayak, like at the last minute. So like you're getting it close to the boat, you can see it coming in, and you're just kind of watching it, but you kind of like give up. Like you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop reeling and just pop this out of the water and cast it again. And then all of a sudden, freaking slime dart just goes, and like you just like. All of a sudden, you're like, holy shit! Like, you're just, like, doing, like, you're more jumping from the fear of what just swam under my boat instead of, like, actually doing the hook set. There's so many videos where you just, like, hear silence because, in reality, I'm, like, screaming obscenities because I didn't know what the hell just happened. Yeah. I've had pike come out of the water for, like, literally, like, clear, like, Shamu to try to get the chatterbait. It's a crazy bait for those.
I'm so ready for pike. So I use the Z-Man Diesel.
Okay. Yep.
Looks like that guy.
Yep.
And like I said, so I'm fishing, and I mean I like to fish up shallow. I like to fish structure, grass, and all that. So I don't want the heavier ones that are going to sink down and get caught and everything. And that elastic, I mean, it lasts longer, but it also gives it some buoyancy as well.
Yep.
And then I like to use like Reaction Tackle has a nice soft plastic swim bait, like if I want to use that. But ever since I found the Z-Man, and again, Z-Man has its pros and its cons. But it'll last me like a whole couple trips at least once, as long as like a pike doesn't.
It's funny because I have never caught a fish on a Z-Man TRD. Like,
not doing good.
The thing is, I can throw on a Helamite. I can throw on I make these little newts that I pour myself. Throw those on a Ned. I'll catch fish all the time. Yeah, I'll have to give you some on Monday.
A newt.
So actually, let me look and see if I have them.
What about you?
They're pretty cool.
I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. I am going to start out. I'm going to throw Gene LaRue Bifflebug Texas rig.
Ayo.
90% of the time. And I'm like you. If not, I'm going to go to a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. And then I'll throw a frog.
I was
But
going to say
90,
spinnerbait too. Spinnerbait and chatterbait. They probably, if I'm throwing one or the other, they're both probably tied on, just depending on what vibration or color or thump they want in the water. But yeah.
I'll take 5 rods with me, and I'm going to have spinnerbait, chatterbait, frog right there.
Boom.
Texas rig. I have to have my Texas rig, and then on the 5th rod, I will probably have just my crankbait in a 3.5 shad color, and those are I take an entire crate, and I throw the same 5 lures every single, because those are my most comfortable. I have confidence in those baits, and I catch fish 99.9% of the time. Pennsylvania, Ohio. I fish Lake Erie all the time, and those are my go-to baits all the time, especially the lakes around the area in Ohio. So
yeah, that's the problem with me. Like in South Jersey in the early spring, it's nice because all that green slop and all that grass hasn't really bloomed yet. So you can get away with fishing a few different ways. But I can't do any flipping once it's the summertime. It's like green snot, just like that much of it on your line. But when I'm in like Vermont or Champlain, when you've got some clearer waters and you've got, wood or structure, I'm flipping. I like a lizard. I like a creature bait. The Guggen bandito bug. I have seen those. Ooh, that. Oh yeah. I know what that is. Yeah, that's nice. Can't hear you at all, my guy. Can't hear you at all.
Got on mute myself. So it's basically a brush hog with like a ribbon tail.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I throw those on a Ned rig.
Yeah.
Those I'll make you some of those.
We were just talking about like if you had like 5 rods. PJ was breaking down what he's got on his rods.
Yeah.
So what about you, Mike? What do you have? If you have 5 rods, you're going fishing for largemouth.
What's the barometric pressure? What's the current weather condition?
And where's the moon phases coming in? And
tell me what the F you're putting on your rod.
Am I fishing a highland or lowland reservoir?
I do love a crankbait. Crankbaits have become also another big one for me. I'm not a jerkbait kind of girl, but I do love crankbait and like that. I like a 1.5 to a 2. It's just like sometimes I don't really like to go big, but.
I'm trying to think 5. So I'm gonna have a Ned rig on, which is new. Last year I did not fish a Ned rig till about halfway through the year, but I've kind of fell in love with that. I will have usually probably an Arky style jig on. Okay. Or what I'll do is I'll take a flipping jig, because a flipping jig is a swim jig. People don't realize that. Yeah. But if you look at a swim jig head and a flipping jig head, it's the same freaking thing. It's just a little bit lighter for a swim jig. Yeah. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll throw a swim bait on a flipping jig, and then I can use it I can flip it into cover, but then I can also just reel it back as a swim bait at the same time, so it gives me both.
It's a twofer.
It's a cheat code, because in the kayak you don't have a ton of room, so you have to be able to be versatile.
Right.
I always have, and anybody who's watching, and anybody who's seen my videos, the Kitech Easy Shiner, belly weighted hook. I use those owner twist lock hooks with like the belly weight on it. And like you said, you fish in the slop with like the slime. Like the good thing about that setup is low profile. I use like the 3.8 Kitechs, or I pour my own now, but the Slick Shiner, which is its Easy Shiner. But basically, I make those baits weedless so that they have just a little bit of a weight underneath, so that kind of gives them that panfish profile with the way the hook kind of bends around. And you can drag them through all that bullshit and not have to worry about, them getting hung up. And then the other bait, it varies. So it's going to be, chatterbait used to be it. It's really weird for me, and I think, like, the biggest thing about it that's funky for me is that every year a bait gets phased out of my arsenal, and then I have to bring it back, or so like last year, 2022, I can't keep saying last year because that was 23, but 2022, I caught, I would say 60% of my fish on chatterbait, and that was everything. Pike, I caught freaking perch, bluegill, everything on chatterbait.
I think I caught 90% of my fish on a chatterbait.
Last year, I could not get the chatterbait to go. Couldn't do it. I could not catch a fish on chatterbait. But swim jig was the replacement for that, which isn't in the same category, but it is because it's
Just
still
doesn't have
that
a blade on
profile.
it. It's the same.
It's
There's no vibration or flash.
it's a swim bait with a secondary action, so it's the same kind of idea. I think honestly this year, and I don't know why, this year is going to be crankbait.
Okay.
I have no idea why. I just have it in my head that that's going to be it. And I haven't caught fish on crankbaits in 2 years. I'm going to be wrong. It's going to be like, it's going to be fucking Wacky Rig or Texas Rig or some or it's going to be like Carolina Rig, but which again, I can't really fish it.
Right. I also like a Nico rig, so I like to put a little weight wacky like there's. Okay, so I was telling Mike, I don't like not being able to feel my bait. So anything like weedless drives me absolutely bonkers. So there's like 1 or 2 times that I'll throw like a weightless wacky worm, or I'll throw the Nico, which I know that it has a little bit of weight, so I like to like, work it around trees and stuff. But yeah, I can't. So that's another thing. Like I can't. I love a Ned rig or a little crawl on the bottom, like something like a bottom bait, even like popping a small minnow or swim bait on the bottom. What does that say?
No love for the buzz.
I have never caught a fish on a buzz bait.
I haven't either.
I've never caught a fish on a buzz bait. I've been a spinning combo kind of girl like my whole life. Last year I used the bait caster. This year I'll have 2 bait casters in the boat. But no. I actually would rather throw the Whopper Plopper like a little El Chapo because I know that's going to float. So like I can pop it, I can, and then it'll float and stay up in that strike zone. So
you know what's funny about a buzzbait is probably my 3rd most popular video on this channel is me putting a Berkeley Gilly on a buzzbait.
Good for
and
you.
I don't, and that's the only time I fished it that whole year.
I have one one that I probably took from like my brother's tackle box when we were kids. I have never thrown it.
I would tell you that does work.
Or a frog, sorry.
It works on like a spinner bait too, is if you nose hook like a Berkeley Gilly because it gives it that like swim bait profile. But the problem with a buzz bait is me and you have the same problems. Is by the time topwater is efficient, like by the time that is the deal, is when that grass where we are is all topped out. And it's not just that, it's also milfoil, but it's also dead milfoil. So then you get those like clumps of floating, you get these floating islands of, and I'm sure down by you it's probably not only milfoil but dead bodies and human hair and everything else because you're in Jersey, but
you are one
like
son of a bitch.
Wow.
Just saying. I say the same thing to Bear. I'm like, you're fishing in your finless brown ponds trying to catch
me for maybe 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just like that. I'm just out there. I mean, come on. Think about how we met. Like, literally, the first conversation I had with her was she was filming at the A-Bay booth. She grabbed her camera, she's walking around, panning around the baits, and I leaned over and I said, hey, I've got a bunch of this footage. If you want, give me your email and I'll send you the footage.
As he's walking away. And I'm
the first fucking thing I said to her.
Like...
Who was that guy?
Yeah, and then I literally went around the corner to the Fresh Baits booth, and she's like, who the fuck was that?
And Bobby wasn't even paying attention.
No, and Bobby was useless because Bobby wasn't like, oh, that's just fucking Binya, don't worry about him. Like, he's just like, talking to A-Bay, talking to Chris.
Yeah. So what I'll use also to replicate a buzz bait is I love either a horny toad or Z-Man makes like a floating frog, which is really great, like the scum frog, because I've got some snakehead too. And like I said, I've got that thicker vegetation. So I'll either burn that on top, give it a pause sometimes, like in the pockets, try to give that fish a minute to react. So yeah, between, like I said, a Whopper Plopper or the frog, I've never had a need for a buzz bait, and it's just there's too much vegetation for me to fish a buzz bait. So.
You know, it's a cheat code so few fish. The horny toad, absolutely. That's probably my number one go-to top water when it comes to heavy vegetation.
Yep.
But another little trick is if you take a wacky
crawl?
rig or a craw, and you can do the same thing.
Burn it.
But then what you do is you drop it off the front. So you cast it on top of the mat as far back as you can get, and you burn it across the top of the mat. And then when you find a hole, stop and let it fall. Because the fish will follow all that weird bouncing and activity, and then when it comes down in front of them, they'll just smash that thing. I've done it so many times.
Okay, I just wanted to see if it worked for you or you.
So I do it on a lake by me. There's a bay that I have that has like it's the whole right side of this bay becomes a lily pad field.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like so thick.
Right? Yep.
It's so thick you can't even see the water. Like you don't even like if you actually went into this and didn't know where you were, you would think that the water was just the middle of the channel and the edges were a field.
Yeah.
Like that's how thick it is. But then there's these little holes, just like there always is in the pads. And if you take like even a horny toad, if you get it over top of it and then you reel it fast and then you stop and reel it slow across, it'll get smashed every time.
Yeah, it depends.
But if you drop it down in it, like they'll just kill it.
One year, my brother, because he was fishing on the fishing team for his college, it was like the white frog, the horny toad, or the zoom frog, like just burning it as fast as you possibly could, and you're talking about 4 or 5 pounders, inhaling it.
Yep.
So it's either you're burning it or, like you said, giving it that pause in that pocket to let that fish hit it, or like letting it drop down. You got to kind of figure out what kind of mood the fish is in, and that's the beauty of fishing, right?
The worst part about the toads, though, is the hookup ratio is fucking awful.
Yep.
It's awful. It's the most aggravating. You don't know how many. I've actually got a video on my channel. I made it into a short, too, where, no joke, I set the hook so hard that the fucking horny toad hit the rods behind me.
Oh, yeah, it didn't hit you in the face?
It's literally what rape. I actually use like the Mario, like, here we go sound as it like went by my face. Like, you actually could listen. If you listen to the video, my wife, I was sitting in the living room editing this video, and I had to slow it down to see it. Because you couldn't see it unless you slowed it down. But what you heard was, because the fucking hit the rod behind me, and it like vibrated in my rod holder.
Oh, I've taken out many a people in my dad's boat from hook sets and missing fish. My cousin, and I'm gonna have him on my show because I was telling him about all this, and he was like, "I want to be on the show." I'm like, "Okay," but he never he doesn't have a heavy rod. Like, he does not have a topwater frogging rod. He loves the topwater fish. He'll make his own poppers, and he does really great with them. But I'm like, and then he'll watch me, like, he's afraid of me when I'm frog fishing. Or just topwater in general. He's afraid of my hook set because I am like giving him hell. And like the lure will come back if it's not in the roof of a fish's mouth. And he's just like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I've learned too many times, like, not having the right gear or not giving him hell. You're gonna miss that fish of a lifetime." I'm not about that. I'm not about that.
The lake I was ice fishing on today, when I was fishing with Bear, actually. So it was actually really funny. Is I was picking on him because he set the hook so hard with a Ned rig that he almost gave himself a Prince Albert with that Ned rig. Like, it came up and smoked him. So I'm giving him shit about that. And the next cast, I did a hook set with a football jig. And you watch me go like this, and then you just see me go, and it went right by my ear. And he was like, "Did that almost hit you?" And I'm like, "Dude, I've done this." And like, it was funny because it was just one of those, like, I literally went, like, I just knew I needed to get my face out of the way because I was going to get smashed.
Have you ever done the ninja thing and just grab the lure? Like, I will, because I play sports, I will instinctively, like, grab it or, like, let it hit my hand before it hits my face.
I wish this was a brag, but I caught my own rod one day doing that. So I went backwards with a jig, came forward with a rod. I ripped the rod out of the fucking rod holder and threw it like a javelin. And had to, like, catch it by the butt of the rod to stop it from, like, just going. Like, it was so bad. And it was pure, like you said, it was a sport. I was a first baseman. You know, I have, like, pretty decent reaction time for being able to, like, just kind of slow my mind down and grab stuff. And and I didn't get it on camera, which sucked because it was like, I literally went, like, back and I stupidly hit the button on my freaking bait caster at the time. I didn't realize I'd hit it, and I went back, and then, like, when I went forward, it, like, clicked the bail, so then it just hooked into that rod, and it just sent it. And I just, like, out of the corner of my eye, I was like, "Oh, crap."
We need to do a podcast episode of just, like, all the what the fuck moments.
The blunders. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yep. Yeah, no.
I've made so many shorts of, like, just, like, stupid shit that you do and you don't even think. Like, I was pulling, you know when you get, like, a bait in a tree, right? and
No,
you're
I've
trying
never
to
done
do
that.
this crap. So you're trying to, like, for some reason, everybody thinks that this is going to work.
Yeah, no.
Well, one day I did that, and then I learned, you know, pull it back, grab the line, and pull the line straight back. I grabbed the tip of the fucking rod
Oh my god.
and pulled, and then it snapped in my hand, and I went.
You know,
Like, I've done so many stupid things like that. I actually pedaled down through the blank of a rod one day that I just bought.
dumbass.
Like, it was sitting on the side of my kayak, it slid underneath my pedal, and then I pedaled down through it and
You
snapped
were like,
it in half.
crunch. Oh, there goes $300.
Oh, I've shut them in tailgates. I have 5 over here that need tips. It's just...
I have broken, I'm going to knock on wood. I have broken 1 rod tip.
I had a favorite rod,
me think
like
about
favorite the brand, that
Riley,
I literally cast it
Riley.
into half.
Sorry. Come here. I knocked on the table and my dog thought something
Oh,
was door, and
yep.
he immediately is
Yep.
like, who the fuck is coming into
Yep.
our house? No, but 1 rod tip. I almost lost the tip of my finger that day too. So that was fun. Yeah,
Yep.
I was snagged. So this was either my first or second trip to Vermont, so I was a teenager. My dad had given me this rod, and of course it has sentimental value because my dad gave it to me. So I'm using braid with tipped fluoro, and I'm snagged. I'm in the back of the boat. My brother's in the middle. My dad's up front. They don't know that I'm snagged, whatever. I'm trying to, like, get the line, and my dad starts moving the front of the boat, and the braid wrapped around my finger. And it started, like, pulling, and I screamed, and luckily I grabbed the line. Like, he stopped for a second. I grabbed the line, and I was able to get the snag out, but I had already, like, I cut a good amount of my finger. But the rod tip broke also.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm crying my eyes out because I'm a sensitive soul. Because it's terrifying. Like, you're watching that line, like, slice. I still have the scar.
Braid can cut you
and I broke
bad.
the rod at the same time. I was, like, devastated. He was like, "It's just a rod that I gave you." I'm like, "It's not just a rod." I don't use that rod anymore, but I bring it every year. It's like my good luck. Like, I have to have it. But yeah, so
I have a spinning rod that's like 3 inches shorter than it's supposed to be because I broke it like 2 eyes deep, and I literally used like diagonal cutters and just cut that eye down. So now
You're like,
so like you've heard of like moderate and fast action. This one's kind of like a meh action because
Yours is
it's like so
yours
far
is a
down
mess.
into the blank.
it's a mass action.
Yeah, we could do an entire podcast on. That's what's funny is, you know, that's actually something that I think a lot of YouTubers miss the boat on. Is I put that shit in my videos.
I do too.
Like, I don't hesitate to be like, look, I casted and hooked a rock. Like, I literally did a short one time where I was like, that's a big one, and then I'm like, nah, it's a rock. Like, I literally, I like home run, I jig home run hooks at a fucking log one day, and it was like, I was like, oh, that's a good one, and then I was like, holy shit, no, that's not a fish. Like,
It's a
you could just,
300-pound mic.
like, literally, after the hook set, my rod bent all the way to the blank, and I was going to the bank, and nothing moved, and I'm like,
You're
yeah,
like,
that's
"It's an
not a fish.
alligator."
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what this is. I actually literally pulled a log off the bottom doing that.
Dude, I fought a carpet one time in downtown Dayton, Ohio, and I'm fishing like I don't know if it was a Mad River or what it was. So I'm
Hold
fishing
on,
the river.
I gotta look at what time. 1:03.
We're at
Okay.
1 hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta look at that because I gotta clip that out. I caught a carpet one time. That is totally becoming a
It
shit.
took me.
I caught
caught
this
a
carpet. It's in the rapids, right? And I'm fishing, you know, and I hook set it. And it's fighting back because it's in the rapids. So it's water. So I set it like, and I'm fighting it. And now I'm in the current. So I'm going downstream and it's pulling me upstream. And I'm like, Jesus, I got something here, you know. And my boy, he's coming down. He's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's huge. It's huge. And I'm reeling and it's fighting me because it's in the current. So the carpet is constantly working. And I'm like, geez. I said, it's not a bass. I said, but it's something huge, you know. And my buddy is like watching, you know, and like he was like, I'm gonna net it for you, and I'm like, please do. Like, this is ridiculous. And finally, like, I get it to surface, and I'm like, what is this? And he was like,
quit. You want
yeah. He was like, did we all just stop because you hooked a carpet? And I'm like, I guess, man. I was like, as long as there's not a dead body in it, I don't care,
right.
dude.
No,
Let's get the hell out of here. Oh, dude, it was
you weren't
so
in New
wicked.
Jersey, so you were fine.
Yeah, we were in Ohio. So it's not,
You weren't fishing
Dayton,
in
Ohio.
Delaware. You were fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say in Jersey, there's probably a body on the other end that was wrapped up in that.
If you're fishing like the Delaware River,
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I fought that thing for a good 15 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, this is all. I'm screaming the whole time.
Oh yeah, losing your shit.
I'm trying to pedal, pedal back
That's
upstream
the thumbnail
and
of the
working
video,
it,
right
like God. Yeah.
As a content creator, you're like, oh, I got to get in the water and hold this thing for my thumbnail.
I've never caught a carpet, but I've definitely caught like a tree, like in current that like had a bunch of branches that was like kind of dragging and pulling, and like got all excited and was like really like focused on catching it, and had people around me and that had it like that. As soon as that like first part of that branch came out of the water, I just kind of like let it down and like pedaled away and then unhooked it, because like all these people on the shore like expecting me to pull out like Champ, and it was this fucking like 6-inch log with a bunch of branches that were causing drag. Yeah.
Nice. I caught a rock last year. There was it was this weird on Champlain on a crankbait or something. It was through the hole. There was a hole in the rock.
Nice.
I'm reeling it. I'm like, I have something. I just don't know what it is. I still have it. I kept it because trinket. And I was just like, I mean, once in a lifetime, like, caught a rock via a hole. Like, I don't know. It was cool. I would love to know the story behind that rock and the hole. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. Yeah, it's also fun. Like we actually did it with a fish one time, but it was like the most disappointing fish catch. So we were doing the salmon fishing thing on Lake Ontario, right? So we're in a derby, and this particular derby is like 20 grand for first place. Like biggest fish is like 20 grand. We hooked into a king salmon, and we fought this thing for 2 fucking hours. Like,
was it a carpet?
No, it was. So what was funny is it ended up being an actual king salmon, but we hooked it. We foul hooked it in the dorsal, so that fin had full power to do what the fuck it wanted for 2 hours. Like it never tired out. We had, I'm not even kidding you, boats in a complete fucking circumference, because we're doing donuts. We pulled we thought we had a $20,000 fish on. We pulled all of our rods out. We were taking turns handing the rod off because we're fighting this fish, and it had so much power because we didn't have it in the mouth, we had it in its freaking back. So we're fighting like an 18-pound king that we thought was like a 45-pound king for 2.5 hours, and finally got it in. And we ended up having to, like, kill it because it was so exhausted that it was basically dead by the time we got it in the boat. But that thing, we had guys with fucking binoculars, like, watching us fight this fish. And, like, they must have thought we were just a bunch of assholes that didn't know what we were doing, because then we pulled this fish out of the water, and you would have thought it was this fucking monster, and it was just, like, little 18-pound king salmon.
I'd be like, we're eating this son of a bitch.
Yeah, we ended up...
Put me through for that.
Yeah, that one got filleted for sure. But yeah, it's the funniest thing, and that's one of the things about fishing is like you catch some of the weirdest shit and shit you don't expect too. Like I caught the biggest perch I caught in the jigs and baits this year, 2023, was on a swim jig.
Yeah, the biggest
quarter ounce swim jig.
The biggest pike I ever caught was on a drop shot, right in the corner of the mouth. Beautiful, beautiful hook set. My God. But yeah,
see, that's a technique I suck at.
Okay, so I'm not a vertical drop shotter, but I'm like a cast, and yeah, I love a drop shot. Honestly, a drop shot is always tied on, even in South Jersey, because it gives me that, like, my weight is in the scum and my worm is up higher. So I should have said drop shot also is one of my number one bass lures.
See, now I will fish a drop shot with like a small swim bait.
I've done that. Works.
Because if you swim it, like you can fish it like a drop shot and do like the shake and kind of pop it, but then when you work it back, it's something about how that weight below it, like pendulums, it like makes that swim bait swim differently, and I've definitely had success doing that.
It also makes it look like that swim bait is like chasing something,
yeah.
A bite to you know.
Oh, you should see some of the redneck engineering I've done with making stuff like that. I made, like, I don't know if you should Google it, but there's a rig for salmon trolling called the Twinkie. Okay, so it's literally multiple, and you probably might be familiar with this, PJs. You ever seen a Howie fly?
Yeah.
So it's basically three small mylar flies
Okay.
with then a cut bait head in the back of it.
Yeah, it looks weird as hell.
So it's like basically this weird little like stringer of mylar flies with a hook on the end that you put like a bait on.
Come on, Cabela's.
And
Sorry.
it literally I've made those for bass fishing with like the actual silicone jig skirt material. I used
Is that flare?
yeah, it's basically just like that, yeah. So it's like a weird bait, and I've made those on like I've taken like shrink tube and then glued silicone to it and then like made like multiple strands of it and then put a swim bait behind it. Because sometimes I do think that like having a fish look like it's chasing another fish will cause like bass to like target. The only problem is for me they always seem to target the dummy bait instead of the actual thing with the hook.
Yeah.
Or you get pike, like if you live like where there's pickerel and pike, then the pike just cut the whole fucking thing off because they sideswipe it, and that's why I don't fish I don't fish freaking jackhammers for that reason. It's not because they're not effective. It's not because they're not a great chatterbait. It's because I'm spending $19.99 on something that is a pretty good chance that a pike's going to take back with it.
Yeah, I try to get them on sale when I buy them.
If I can get them on sale, but a lot of times I end up just getting like the OG Z-Man, originals.
Well, no, that's what I meant. I don't own a jackhammer. I own all mini maxes. And this year, what I'm going to do is
those are expensive.
Again, I try to get them when they're on sale or use a credit card.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to try to do.
Money goes a long way.
It does. What I'm going to try to do is buy like the quick replaceable skirts and just try to keep like 3 or 4 chatterbait heads and then switch the colors out. Like if I need white, I just take that skirt off, throw it on, and try to maximize it. Because I will buy 4 of each color. I'll buy like 4 green, 4 black and blue, 4 white and chartreuse. That's a lot of fucking money right there. So if I can buy like the replacement skirts and try to save myself.
Buy the material. Buy the material. Make them yourself.
There's a company. Alex Rudd had a company on. They do like hand-tied jigs. I don't know if they're still around, and I don't remember the name. But the quality of material they use, they have a lifetime guarantee. It lasts a while, and you could literally send them chatterbaits if you wanted to, and have them, pre-tie them for you.
I made almost like half of my own jigs last year. You can literally buy what the hell is it? Fishing skirts online or fishing. You can buy the silicone tabs to make your own. You can buy a kit for like $20. Has all your basic colors and the little rubber bands that go around like your basics. If you wanted to tie them, talk to somebody who ties his own flies because he could teach you about how to tie them on. But basically, you get like the silicone tabs. So a pack of 10 tabs is like $1.50.
Too much. I'm just kidding.
I can teach you a way to tie it. That's going to be super simple, and you could tie up 100 of them to put on your thing.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's like won't cost you hardly anything.
Yeah, because those tabs you can get. I think it's like $1.50 for 10 in a pack, and you can get black, blue. You can get green pumpkin, white. There's even different textures. Like you can get ones that have like ribs to them versus smooth. And then if you want to get really fancy and you want to watch this guy below me's eyes light up, is you can cheat and sneak in a little bit of Mylar to add a little bit of a different material.
I love a bit of Mylar. Mylar is cool as shit.
So they make Mylar tabs for fly fishing for stuff like that too. And if you sneak that in, it creates a little bit of a flash with your silicone skirts, and it creates a little different. And you could actually, if you really wanted to, you probably, if you were hand tying, you could probably sneak marabou in there too.
I was going to say, you had to throw a little bit of marabou on it. You almost have to, because just the way it pulsates in the water, it just adds that extra,
throw a little bit of marabou in there. Because I actually was going to try to figure out how to do that, because like Beast Coast makes a hybrid hair jig that has a little bit of silicone, a little bit of marabou in it, and
marabou is like the greatest material to work with. Yeah, because when it's underwater, if you watch it, if you tie your own jigs, if you tie your own flies, you watch it pulsate underneath the water.
Yeah.
It
You
just
have to
adds
move
that
it.
extra element. Yeah, it
You
does the
literally
work
can
for
just
you.
drop
It's
it on the
great.
bottom and it will just
Like
breathe.
bucktail, you
It's
know what I
it's
mean?
awesome.
Like, do
Yep.
you use bucktail, like deer
I
tail
do.
fur? Okay.
I
Next
do
deer I
for
get,
time flies.
the next deer I get, you can have its tail.
And then I dye the colors. I dye my own colors.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
I want
trust me.
to.
All the guys I work with, whenever they get a deer, I'm like, cut the tails off and give them to me. And they're
Oh,
like,
motherfucker.
seriously?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh,
hell yeah! I was like,
Don't.
it's free. It's free.
Do
yeah.
me a
And I will
favor though.
Free
Don't
is
tell me
free.
you're sending it. Don't tell him you're sending it.
Uh-huh.
I just want him to receive a random box with a cut off deer tail.
I'm gonna
It's
send
like
it to you on like Valentine's Day. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I
It would be
want
that
that
random.
fucking phone. I want that phone call. Like, dude, fucking Janelle just sent me a severed deer tail. Like, what
It
the fuck?
wouldn't be that random because I've had deer tail show up. I've had squirrel tail show up. You know, like people will send
Yeah,
me that stuff,
squirrel
and I'm
tail's
like,
a big one.
I appreciate what you're doing here. Like you are hooking me up. I got material coming out my ears.
Yeah.
So
My,
yeah,
my wedding ring has for me and my wife, has a piece of antler that I found. It's a
That's
shed that I
cool.
found in my hometown.
oh
And
nice.
yeah, one of the band. I don't have it on right now. We're not going to talk about it. No, I wear it on a necklace, and I left the necklace at my parents' house because I don't even. I think I took it off to go to bed and then forgot it, and then drove up north. It happens. She knows I love her. She knows. I'll bet money she don't have hers on right fucking now. It's okay. We don't get like that.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, no, that's cool. All right, so then I'm keeping my deer tail. Fuck you. No.
I would
Here's
keep
what
it. I
I'll
would
do.
keep it and dye it for yourself. You know, and you can use it. I
No,
mean,
I'll
it's so.
personally deliver it to you so you can show me how to tie my own stuff.
But I got all this stuff. Yeah, we can meet in Pennsylvania and we can tie our own things. And then no matter
There you
which
go.
way we come from my cabin, you can go
Yeah.
out the driveway, turn left, turn right. You're going to go to a river. You're going to go to a creek, and we can fish them both. And it just goes to anything and everything. So
That's sweet. So you grew up
Yeah.
fly fishing or just fishing in general?
I grew up just fishing in general. I grew up walleye fishing and then trout fishing. And my son, he kind of got me into fly fishing. He's a certified guide. He's been out to Montana.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, so he's gone to school for that, to two different schools. He actually guided in Yellowstone, and then I think it was last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now it's hard to all the years start to run together.
It does, yeah.
Yellowstone 3 years ago, they had a storm come through, snowstorm in June.
Oh,
And put
God.
3 foot of snow down, and it took the Mad River, the Yellowstone. It just destroyed the rivers out there. And they told him, fishing, it shut down for a while, for about a month and a half. And he was like, I can't work. I cannot sit here for a month and a half. So he came back home and he went to work at a lodge in Pennsylvania and was fly fishing over there with them. So he's the one who kind of got the bug started with me, probably 6-8 years ago now. And yeah, once you start going down that wormhole, I mean,
I still refuse. I still refuse. I say this every episode. I'm not doing
you
it.
caught a trout today.
I don't know
you
why.
Caught a
Yeah, right,
trout
you're-
today, dude. Come on, you caught a brown trout, for the love of God. Like
Brown
that's
trout
what
are gorgeous.
people. That's what
I
people target.
Can't
you know what I mean? Like,
afford. I don't have another room.
Yes, you can.
you choose
bad.
not to.
You just
know
need
what
more
I mean?
shells.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They
I literally
break
have an
down.
entire
All your fly
office.
rods break down to 2.5 foot, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it can sit in your corner. I got 6 of them in my garage right now as we speak.
Tube, and then you just need a little tying area. Now, does every person who fly fishes tie flies? Is it just like is it an inevitable thing or?
Not really. Like
If you're doing it right.
Every fly fisherman gets into it, and you're going to buy your own flies. You go to a fly shop, and then you start dropping. Like you'll pick up oh heck, I don't know, a size 22 midge, let's say, and you'll spend $4 on it. Well, I don't have the eyes
You're not cheap.
to tie a 22 size 22 midge, so I purchased those. But then you start losing $4 flies that on the bottom, and you're just like, you're talking minute fraction hooks. You just that's $5 on the bottom of a trout stream that you can walk across, but you can't find a damn thing because it's so freaking small.
Right.
So you want to tie your own flies, and then there are once you start tying,
you got
there's basic flies that you can get by, like a Rainbow Warrior. I can tie that in my sleeve, and I tie my own you just get creative, you know. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
take
yeah.
burlap sacks now and cut those up and tie. And they look like waxworm mealworms, and you tie them up.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that would make
Yeah, and
sense.
then you can take a brush, you know, well, not brush, but Velcro, and you know, just come down on it like that there. And it looks like legs, and you put a little bit of glue on the top there, so it gives it a nice shiny crusted top. You have the legs underneath there. You start getting into that, and it's just like it's just like anything, you know. Like I don't know if you become like a cook, you know, you start perfecting how you make a meal, and it just starts to look better, you know. So it's anything, and you get into that there, and you're just like, wow, I actually created something. Like I might be pretty good at this, and you're really not, but it looks good to you.
Yeah, right. I don't think this year is the year I get into fly fishing, but probably next year because no, like I will dive into it hardcore. Like I will commit. I'll get all the shit. We can't help it. We just can't. But you're gonna be my guide. You're gonna be like my. But
well,
yeah,
I can help you. I can help you to an extent, but anything that is out of my realm, I call my boy because
I was just gonna say done.
He knows it. He's been there and done it, and you know he's 24, 25 years old, and the experience that he's had already just fly fishing in Montana, in Wyoming, in Ohio, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? So he's been all the way up to New York salmon fishing, you know, with fly rods, and
we're Pulaski probably.
He was up Birch Dam, up in what is the name of that place? Elcott, New York.
Okay.
So he's been up in Elcott, New York, and he's caught
I know a lot of
30,
guys
40,
go
50 pound salmon.
Yeah, we were gonna get so my wife and I were gonna get a plot of land that had a very small like shed. We were gonna get one that was really close to the salmon river. We were gonna like Airbnb it when we weren't there, and then like also use it to do our own stuff. We wound up not, but like now I'm just like, damn it.
You said you want to buy a house. I mean,
yeah. Welcome to my hell, man. Welcome to like the headache that is my life.
Yeah.
So between the time that I talked to Bobby on his podcast to right now, my plans have completely like flipped upside down. Like if it was a tote of shit. Like of stuff, it would have flipped upside down, and then the lid would have opened, and like things would be kicking all around in the back of your truck. Like my life right now, like I know I'm gonna be traveling, I know I'm making content, but we have so many things that we need to like figure out right now that like was very unexpected, and it's fine because like we're solid and we'll figure it out. But it's like, gosh dang. But that makes life fun and also stressful. But back to fly fishing. It's something that like, I mean, I've always looked up to. It's a beautiful craft, like watching people do it. It's just like to have that in the arsenal. I just don't have the time right now to dedicate to it. But yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Once you start catching, like that was my big thing. Like before, you know, growing up, you know, I trout fished. I lived in Pennsylvania, so growing up, all we used was like rooster tails and spinners, and that's all we threw.
Yep.
All the time. And my son, you know, he was, you know, I want to fly fish. So we kind of got into that there a little wee bit, and then he was like, I'm going to fly school. So he went out to Montana and he did all that there. And we drove him to Montana, which was an absolute blast. We lived out of a van. Absolute blast.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, we drove from Ohio all the way out to Montana. I've seen so many different things and drove all the way back.
That's
so
cool.
it was a blast. That was a trip of a lifetime, and I'm glad that we did it. But like, he came back and he was like, you know, Dad, you got to do it like this. And I'm like, you know, at the time I was in my, you know, my mid 30s, and I'm like, Bud, my body's not cut out for this because my brain is not cut out. And he's taking his time and showing me like, you need to do this, and I start doing it. And next thing you know, like I start catching fish.
Yeah.
And then I start catching fish in Montana and Wyoming out there with him. And I'm like, you know, and he was like, you realize, he's like, you just caught a native. They don't stock in Montana and Wyoming.
God, native, yeah.
He's like, you just caught a native brown. You just caught a native rainbow. You just caught, you know, they're wild. And then it sank into me. I'm like, I just tricked a wild fish into eating something that I tied in my house just because I was bored.
Techniques, with my,
Yeah, and I was like,
I knew the line.
Boom.
Like my cast was just right. The line, everything, the float was perfect. Like, yeah.
Yes, and see, that's where the whole nasty cast thing, like we have that there.
Mm-hmm.
That all started at my cabin fly fishing, because there was this. If we have time for this story, it's pretty cool.
I ain't going anywhere.
There was this stream that runs right behind my cabin. They stock it with stock rainbow and browns and brookies, but you could see this one fish. It was on the far side of the stream, and I'm just learning how to fly fish at this point in time. So I'm no good. I'm not even a fly fisherman at this point in time yet. And I really wouldn't even consider myself yet. I'm still learning. So where this fish was, you had to put like the perfect cast and had to hit, and then the fly had to land like that just to go past him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I can do this. Oh yeah, I'm bragging. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. I'm catching this fish. And I'm like, and I have no business even attempting this. But for some unknown reason, I cast, it hits, the fly lands, and the fish, you see the fish's head swing up, and I'm like, he comes up and hits it, and I sit, and I'm like, boom, and my buddy's behind me. And him and my son, they watched everything happen, and my buddy's like, oh my God, that was a nasty cast right there. So all weekend long, he starts calling us like Team Nasty Cast. So it kind of got branded like that there, and I'm like, and he's onto something. I'm like, so I started putting it on T-shirts and hats and shit, you know what I mean? So like, that's how that whole thing started, but it all came from fly fishing, dude. Yeah. I mean, it was like the perfect little, and I've never been able to make that cast again after that, after the fact.
Some magical moment, but that's like the beauty of it too. You have that.
It just happened,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Janelle.
Yes, sir.
This dude's from your neck of the woods. So you should definitely, he's from Jersey as well, so you guys should hook up, and he has a podcast too.
Hey, let's do it. I'm ready.
So
I'm ready.
It's funny, our audience right here, it's actually an interesting, like, I've talked to other guys about this, but like, so you got Michael Bradley, Scott Vermonter, there's a bunch of guys that literally come in this show, and then they watch ours on Thursday, they watch my main contain every other week with Daniel, they watch Mains, they watch Alex Rudd's. Like, we have this podcast posse that just kind of like at this point, I actually specifically schedule mine on days that those guys' podcasts are not on, so that they don't have to conflict with like the other podcasts, because I want to make sure, like, I'll literally ask these guys if I'm going to do a podcast, like what time they're doing it, if I have to do it on their day, so I can do it earlier.
Yeah.
But
that's rad.
See, he wants you to be right here.
Hey. Okay.
Ooh, there you go.
Hey. Let's do it. DM me on the old Instagram. And
he's on Instagram. So. Let's do it. But yeah, and what's really funny is, I will tell you right now, the funniest one is Scott Vermonter. He's actually from Vermont, and no joke, this dude will show up to a podcast 2.5 hours before the hosts show up.
You were and just sitting there, just doing it.
He'll literally post like, "Hi guys," in the chat, like before I'm even in the post.
I don't even have that kind of time.
Like, I've literally jumped in. I've jumped in to send out a link early and been like, "Oh, Scott Vermonter's already here in the chat an hour before the show starts." Like,
well, that's
it's
why,
the craziest thing.
I turned like I got on the live, and obviously like my camera, nothing was on, because I was literally like I was doing chores. Like, I got home from work, I think I had 30 minutes of just like on the couch, like my ears were ringing because it was just that kind of day. And then I was like, oh, I need to get on this live, but I also need to eat and also like make myself something to drink, and also like wake up the wife because she's got to go there. She's at the in-laws right now having dinner, and I was just like, okay, and I like put it on. I was like, he knows that I'm here. I'll get
it's
like
fine.
It's like, but yeah.
It's the thing is like, I think of all the ones that I watch, this is the most, well, Mains, I will say, and Maine, don't take offense to this because it's actually a good thing, but like, Mains is just like, his podcast just starts, and then it's just like him and usually Brendan talking. Like, it's just like, it's like we are watching them FaceTiming. It's kind of what it is. And it's honestly, in my personal opinion, I like the podcasts that are just genuine. Like, that was the whole, like, when I pitched it to PJ to be my co-host. Because Bear, my buddy Bear, and if you're watching this, Bear, you suck. You were supposed to be my co-host, and then you got your life together and you stopped showing up. So I had to go find someone else.
You don't suck, man. I'm proud of you for getting your life together. Not with this schmuck. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't have my life together.
Yeah,
Did you pick up
okay.
on that part? I don't have my life together.
The funny part is he's probably sleeping right now because he's the only smart one of us because we're getting up at 4 a.m. to go fishing. But I ended up asking PJ about it, and when I pitched it to him, I'm like, this is how the podcast works. Literally, the premise of this podcast is I pretend like I met you at the boat ramp and we're going to talk about fishing. That's the whole premise of the whole thing is like I don't want to be like reading you and not that like Bobby's interview, for example. Bobby's interview is very scripted but unscripted. It goes off the rails, but Bobby has an agenda.
He can bring it back. He's very good at his craft. 100%.
He is 100% a DJ, an event coordinator. Like he rolls it back over to the topics, and you watch some of these other ones. Like you'll have like Alex Rudd does a really good job of doing like
he does
kind of like a structured podcast that like goes off the rails and comes back. Where like I don't think, and tell me if I'm wrong, PJ. I don't think we've had a topic in like 6 or 7 episodes.
We get so off the rail, dude. There's no bringing it back. There's no bringing it back.
We've started out like we're gonna talk about our goals, and then we're like, "Do you think Bigfoot's real?" Like it's just it's not even like it's not even the same freaking top. Like it's not even close to what we started to talk about.
I think we may have done one at the beginning of the year. Or the end of the year, one of them like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about this, and we actually talked about it for the majority of the thing because we had nothing. Like it was
just me and you. That's what it was.
It was just me and you, and we kind of stayed focused there. We didn't,
yeah.
But we get a guest on there. Next thing you know, man,
you were too nervous. That's what it was. You were like staying focused, and you're like, now you're just like, fuck this.
We just go off the rail. We don't even care.
Yeah. And it was literally like when I was on your show, because it was like we went into everything. Like I learned more about like your personal life in a podcast than I probably could have like on a day of fishing with you. Like it was
because if you're with me for a full day, you're getting it all.
Fair enough. And it's gonna be like that. Like I plan on bugging the hell out of you if you're in my area. You think you can't get away from me inviting you to go ice fishing on a Monday? If you're only a 2.5 hour drive from me?
Don't listen to me right now. I want to go tomorrow. I'm very upset that I can't. This is like make the adult decision. But normally 10 times out of 10.5 times, I am choosing the reckless decision to go out in the woods or do something. And spend
it's too bad too because we're fishing out of a campground and the campgrounds are open to the public in the wintertime, so you could have just like slept right in the car in the parking like in the campground. And
you're not getting me to do it.
As a matter of fact, you know what's funny is but no, seriously, if you need to know that, so Vermont like state parks, they're open to the public for free after the close for the season. So you can literally go in there and camp for free. Like there's no rule, like there's no law. Now granted, there's no like facilities because those are locked. But there's like lean-to buildings that you can get into. There's tent sites, you can make your own shelter. Yeah. So just keep that in mind when you're traveling in Vermont. That's actually a thing, is like the state parks. A lot of them actually, where I was today is actually a state park boat launch. That they open the gates for ice fishermen.
Oh, that's cool.
So normally you have to pay for day use when they're in season, but once they're out of season, all Vermont state parks are open to the public to do whatever the hell you want. Sweet. Now there is some that will restrict like if they have their own private pond as part of the campground, they may restrict fishing there. They'll make it an off limits, but just keep that in mind if you're. I don't know how other states are, but Vermont's like that. So if you are doing winter camping, it would be like, especially once you have the bus, because you could just fucking park the bus in a tent site at the state park and you're good.
Yeah, that's the beauty. Like me and PJ, we're gonna be living a really fun life when we travel, because the beauty of the beauty and the shit show of like figuring out where you're going, where you're camping, if you can camp there, what the rules are, do you have to pay, what's close by, what do I have for food, did I forget this? Like it's a good time. And every state
I looked into it. Massachusetts is a pain in the ass Because I looked into, I was gonna do it with Bobby like a few times, and then I was like, dude, I'm gonna come down. Like a couple of times when I did tournaments, I was like, dude, I'll just come down. I'll fish my tournament on Saturday. We can meet up on Sunday. We can fish all day. I'll sleep somewhere Saturday night. And then I started thinking like, I'm going to get fucking mugged in some of these towns in Massachusetts. Like, this isn't going to be somewhere I want to sleep on the side of the road. Like, I'm from Vermont, so like I could pull over in 3/4 of my state. I could just pull over to the breakdown lane and sleep in my truck and be fine. And no one's going to mess with me. I live in a state where there's literally more registered guns than people, and we don't require gun registration. So there's guns that are registered that don't need to be. There's twice as many guns as people that are on documents. Now, just to give you perspective, I have 8. None are registered because they don't have to be.
You're a bad man.
So, like, literally, like, even like crime rate here is so low because are you going to break into a house that there's a good chance there's a double barrel on the other side of that door? You're just not. Like, it's just, there's a lot of like comfort in that. So like I've never had to think about the fact that I can't just pull off into a little roadside parking area and just sleep in my car. Like that's fine here, but you know, in other states that's not cool.
Well, you could if nobody sees it. Like, that's the other part of, like, the stealth mode or
that's what I like about the Jeep. You know what I mean? Just boom. I can drop my seat down in the back and I have everything made right there. Now, like I said, I got to do something with the windows. But, dude, yeah, I mean, do you really think somebody's sleeping in the back of a Jeep? You know what I mean?
No.
The back of my Jeep is 5'6". Okay. I'm 5'9", so I got to kind of lay on an angle or bend my knees, which is not that big a deal to me. But I would never think that. Oh, okay, you know, there's a Jeep in the parking lot right there. He's sleep. Like I never would have thought about that.
That's where you're wrong. You're gonna think about it because you do it. But the people that don't, they have no freaking concept of it. Just like the people that drive by water and don't think, ooh, I could fish that. Like we think every single time we drive by a body of water or a piece of land, and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if that's public and I can hunt it. Like, we think those things on a daily, but some people are like not even in that realm.
There's a lake near me called Lake Beebe, and there's no public launch on it. And there's been a few times that I've looked at the guardrail off the side of the highway, and I'm like, I wonder if I hooked a pulley and hooked my kayak to it, could I lower? Because once you get in Vermont, once you're in the water, they can't kick you out. Water is public domain in Vermont.
I'm down.
But the land around it is technically owned. So if I'm on the highway, technically,
we will absolutely do this.
technically that guardrail and all the land underneath that highway that holds up that road is state land because they own the road and they have an easement of 20 feet off either side of the road. So if I could get a come along, drop that kayak down there to just jump into it, I could fish this lake.
Folding kayak, just like throw it, throw all your tackle and just go for it.
No, so you need to look up. I'll send you a link. Did you know that there's literally a kayak that is it folds into a fucking box?
Yes. I've seen it.
I don't know what the hell it's called.
Right now, I'm not buying it.
Really? I saw that thing. I forget what it's called. It's expensive.
Yeah.
There's a dude on YouTube that he does the winter. He does the camping thing all over, and he has the thing where he unboxes it and has like 2 little poles that go across it to hold it in shape.
Yep.
And he gets in it, goes all the time, and I'm like, dude, no.
So
I'm afraid not.
That's terrifying.
I guess. Let's see.
That thing. Yeah. Yep.
Well, this one is like $1,200, but there's a different brand that it's.
There's like one that's like there's one that's like $3,000. There's one that's like $3,000 that's like a catamaran that has like 2 pontoons and like folds open into like it's got 2 big like skiff pontoons with like a center area and it's a pedal drive.
This one's like the touring kayak. That one's $2,000.
I saw a lady one time. It was the funniest shit.
I know.
I saw a lady that had one that like went together like Legos. It was the weirdest goddamn thing I've ever seen.
And it like drops into. Yeah.
She like was pulling this thing out of like a Honda Civic, and she just kept like she opened her trunk and she just kept coming with parts, and then all of a sudden she's like snap this in and snap this in. She pulled her seats out, snapped those in, and then her and her dog went fishing. And I was like, what in the hell just happened?
If there's a means, there's a way. You know what I mean?
It's
People will figure it out. You know what I mean?
This one, you got some guy. I don't know who he is. That's like the before and the after. That one's like $400. I will do one day. Like I will have one.
See, what I want to do is I think the ticket is, and I don't know if there's one that holds a fat boy like me, but I want like a paddle board, like one of the paddle boards that has like the like old granny holder walker thing that I can hold on to while I'm fishing. Because they make one that has like it's like a rack that you can like lean against. It has a seat on it, but it's a paddleboard, but it's inflatable, which is cool because if you wanted, like for you, PJ, it would be like you want to really get up into the fucking backcountry with your fly fishing stuff. You could then have this in a backpack, blow it up when you get out there, go down a stream, and then get back out, pack it back up, and hike out. And not have to drag a fucking kayak up in there.
That wouldn't be too bad.
It's still heavy though. Some of them,
they're a little bit heavy. I've seen a lot of guys fly fishing off of paddle boards. A lot.
The inflatable. See, like my problem is I would immediately inflate it and then I would immediately go into a tree. Like I'd immediately rip the bottom of it wide open. And I know they're made of like pretty thick material. That was something. So like that was another thing that like crossed my mind was like, okay, you're going on the bus. What type of like vessel are you bringing?
Right.
And I have a 8-inch PVC like 9-foot rod tube that can hold like 20 fishing rods on the roof of my bus. I was like, I might put another one up there. My wife was like, you don't need it. I was like, you don't know that. I've got a stovepipe on one side and then I have the air conditioner in the middle. So I don't have anywhere to put the kayak up top. Also, some of them get heavy and like I don't have that means. I didn't want to put it on the sides because then it makes it wider. It was a whole mess. So that's why I'm doing like the back deck. But then it was like I researched for like years inflatable kayaks, like but I know myself. Like I am hard on things, and also I want to go on like all different types of adventures. Like I need something made of plastic that's can hold its own. So, but I will have 2 kayaks strapped to the bus at all times.
So what kayak are you gonna go with?
So I literally right now, my new kayak is the Van Hunks Shad. So it's a 10'4" pedal drive kayak that basically is like the beast. It's like the all-in-one. Can handle rapids, can handle a motor, can handle, all of the stuff. Or it can be simple, like if I just want to break it down and take it out. And I have an Emotions Temptation, I think 11-foot, like purple kayak. That's Soraya's kayak. She was going to upgrade it. Now I don't know. But I brought that with me the other day. And it's just super light. And does well in it does well in rapids, does well on lakes. Could take it in the ocean if I wanted to. Has a nice back, open back.
Does a lot better with a paddle though, huh?
Back. What?
Does a lot better with a paddle though, huh?
Yeah, when you bring it. We'll get into that. I was gonna do like an inexpensive Pelican as like my secondary like lightweight one, but I know that like again I will push it to the limit and then I'll be like up creek without a paddle type situation. So those are the 2 kayaks I have right now. If and when I'm ready, I'm gonna get the Crescent, either the Shoaly or the Model Down, or the Venture or something like that.
I want a Shoaly so bad.
Shoaly, that green Shoaly it's gorgeous. It's absolutely, that would be like, people say like you can do a lot of things with 1 kayak, but you can do everything with 2. Like that's kind of the mindset. So those would be the 2, the Van Hunks and like the Shoaly or the Venture one. Would be my second one.
Alex was on our podcast. Was that the last episode?
He loves
we had Alex on,
Alex dropped his 20 feet off a bridge, he told us, onto the rocks. And it was fine.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
What?
Yeah.
He was trying to lower it down to the water and the ropes broke. Yeah, like literally what I was talking about, and the ropes broke and it fell 20 feet under the rocks. What kind of rope
was he using? Twine?
He's from Tennessee. It could have been fucking
tooth floss? Like
yeah. knowing Alex, because he's sponsored by Pure Fishing, it was probably like
braided,
it
like
was
a fishing
probably
line.
like braided pro, like 50-pound braid fishing line.
He had
or
a
something.
catfish rod and reel, and he was lowering his kayak with that.
Yeah, he was probably using a Abu Garcia winch rod, and but no, he said he literally dropped it, and he said he thought for sure it was going to be in pieces, and he said it didn't even have any damage to it at all. Is there a video? He said he didn't get that. He said he was riding his fucking. He told us he was riding his Shoalie down his front yard because they got snow. He said he was riding it like a sled down the yard, and he had to bail out before it got to the bottom, and it ran into his neighbor's house.
That's great. Wow.
He said it like smashed into the neighbor's house, and he had to go apologize like a little kid because he was riding his kayak down over the fucking hill in his house.
Hi, Riley. My dog's here.
If you need someone to come on your podcast, let me tell you, Alex Rudd is a perfect person to have come on and talk.
I would be beyond honored to have you on my podcast. I have been a fan of.
Oh, I'll text him.
Stop. Okay.
I'll text him. Well,
I don't know if I'm ready. That's my other thing. Is like,
all right. You want Mikey Balls too? I can text him right now too.
I am subscribed to Mikey Balls now. I watch some of his videos. He seems like a really cool California dude. He's got like that vibe. But getting back to the kayaks, the Shoalie is on my list of kayaks like that I will have in my life.
That's my Mikey Balls text message thread.
Nice. I will have that in my lifetime. I will definitely be getting it in that green pattern. It's beautiful.
That's an expensive kayak, but like
it seems worth it if you're dropping it 20 feet on the bridge.
If you look at the stability of that thing, if you look at the stability of that thing and the knowing who designed that.
That's the other thing. I mean,
Drew Gregory designed that kayak.
I know.
So like that dude knows kayak.
Is that kayak 11, 12 foot? How do we know how long?
I think
that
it's
kayak is?
I want to say it's like a 12 or 13.
See, like,
it's fairly big.
I want it in like a 10 foot.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. Something like that. Like, no. So does your bus have the back door still, or did you take that out?
It's there.
You could probably that kayak is so narrow. You probably could turn that kayak on inside and literally slide it into your bus, and have it like ride inside your bus.
It's 12. I'm not putting it in my bus.
You could though.
But I'm not.
And it's so flat that you could probably put it anywhere. That thing's pretty thin.
This color pattern is absolutely.
It's
11 foot 10. I like how it says 11 foot and then it's 11 foot 10. This color pattern, the green, oh my god.
What's the width of it? It's like really wide though, right?
If you could get this to me, it's 34 inches. It's only 77 pounds.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Actually, let me.
It's rugged as hell.
Yeah.
And it's it seems like, I mean, you got Alex, you watch Alex's videos when he's going with Creek Fishing Adventures, when he's going for John, and he's up under trees, and that dude is going in weird places with that thing, and it doesn't seem like, it must be pretty stable.
Well, that's the other thing. Okay, so my kayak right now is 10'4", it's 35 inches wide, it's 14 inches high, and it's 71 pounds. So the Shoalie is that's without the drive. The Shoalie is about a foot longer and a pound heavier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you could pretty much use that anywhere.
So this is, I know I just keep using, this is my kayak currently. It's teal, whatever. That insert, I can put either fins or a pedal drive in here. I want the regular prop drive just because I want the ability. It's got a double pontoon hull. And I paid, I don't mind telling you what I paid $1,200 for it. I didn't buy the propel drive. That's about $600. That's because it's out of stock, of course. If anybody from Van Hunks is listening to this, can somebody please get me a prop drive and the pod? But it was right in budget. It was right in that size range. Did a bunch of research on it, and just it seems like a good kayak. So, and then the Shoalie at some point. I would love to say next year if YouTube goes pretty okay, maybe next year. But
I've just decided that when you come up in May,
I
want to catch a fish on one of them swan tubes.
What?
Have you seen those things? There's there's a video of a dude on YouTube that caught a shark from a unicorn tube.
Oh!
They make a swan one. It's the same thing, but it's like a swan.
If we're doing
Yeah.
that, I want the mallard duck.
Like, we seriously should, like, buy one of those and then just go out on Champlain. I'll take my bass boat out. Like, whoever's in it, the other person could be in the bass boat as, like, a safety thing. But, like, literally just go out there and try to catch, like, smallmouth out of this, like...
I'll bring the wife.
Yeah. Just have someone, like, literally in the boat so we can go catch you in case you start heading to Canada. But other than that, we're just going to let you go and try to see if you can catch a fish out of it.
I want to do all that silly shit. Like, I want to do all of the challenges, the stupid stuff, like, I want to do it all. Like, I just...
You know what I tried to do today, but I couldn't find them? I wanted to get adult armies so I could walk around on Waterbury Reservoir, like, safety first, and then walk around with, like, adult floaties on this, like... But I couldn't find any that would fit over my coat.
Oh, that's funny.
I looked them up. Did you know they make adult armies? Just saying. They make them. They're the thing.
Okay, are either of you the type of people that have to pinch your nose when you jump into a pool?
I can't go underwater.
Are you
Because
just
I will
buoyant?
get near... No, I that too. That's... Yeah, I mean...
What? You
See what kind of relationships I cultivate really quickly. This is how it works.
Trust me.
No, so I have this problem. I had tube surgery when I was young.
Okay.
And if I get water in my ears, it don't come out. I cannot get it out of my ears. So I have to like have like medical help in order, or like dump. I've literally had to dump like isopro alcohol into my ears to like burn the water out and stuff like that. So I almost always will get an ear infection if I go underwater. So I just don't. Like even when I shower, like I just like tip my head back.
You're hydrophobic.
No, I will like. I will literally, like, go in the nastiest places, but it's just, like, I make sure I don't go under the water. But
Come here.
I do think we need to get, like, one of those little swan things and just start dragging it around the lake and fishing from it and doing
I'll get you a
shit.
swan. I'll get you... I want the duck.
I'm down with the duck.
I'm not effing around. I want the duck.
The problem is, though, is there's some rednecks in Vermont that might get really excited and think it's actually a duck.
Oh, man.
If we're going to do the duck, we might want to invest in Kevlar because we might be seeing some bird shot coming at us, too.
Safety orange on when I'm in it. Inflatable duck.
Matter of fact, we should get a big enough one that holds 2 people, and we'll get Bobby roast beef, and you guys could do a podcast on the duck. I'll film it from my bass boat, and you guys could put that up.
I'm going to be in this one.
I'm in. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's only
that
$30.
goes with my Jeep. You know what I'm saying? Like, that goes with my.
Oh, dude, you should get one of those just for the fun of it. You should get one of those and just strap it to the roof of your Jeep and just drive around town.
How big is this? There's one with a
That would
pirate
be
hat,
the
but it's
best.
small. This one's like a little one.
That's even better.
That's the pirate hat.
That's pirate hat.
I got that. I have that duck in my Jeep
Yeah,
as we speak.
he's literally got that duck. Yeah.
Okay, because we're all crazy enough. It's a 1 to 5 person duck.
Oh, I'm in.
We'd all have to go in about $100 because it's $329 right now.
I'm just redneck enough. I'll put a battery and a fucking Minn Kota Enduro on the back of that thing. We'll run a motor on it.
It's for like towing it, It's for
That's funny.
Slingshotting it around. I'm down to do all of it. Okay, I gotta stop looking at it.
May is going to be an intro. So, guys, probably around mid-June, you're going to want to check out my channel and her channel because there's going to be some weird shit that's probably going to happen on YouTube. Usually am not the gimmicky, like, Guggen Squad type of videos, but to be honest, if I could, like... If I could go out there and fish out of a freaking duck and catch a fish, like even if we don't catch a fish, just being like, okay, how the hell are we gonna get home?
I'm gonna catch a fish. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, I'm all about that kind of shit because I mean I go running 5 miles wearing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle leggings.
I'm trying to get those.
That's the stuff that I do.
That's nice.
And they're right there. You know what I mean? I just went running today.
That's the first thing I asked them was, where do you get them and do they make them in men's? Because I'm huge, so.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's like running pants.
And that's the old school turtles. That's not this new age anime turtle shit.
I call the red headband.
Yes.
I'm the red bandana girl.
See, I'm Michelangelo. I'm the orange.
That's actually
cool.
funny because I was Raphael too. But yeah, just saying.
But that's the kind of stuff that I do. Like I like to, with the whole Jeep thing, you know, like I do that kind of crazy shit. Like I'm not afraid to put on I got a shirt that I wear at my cabin. If we do hook up in Pennsylvania,
we will.
I have a shirt that I wear fishing that says "nuttier than a squirrel's turd," and everybody knows me for that shirt. Like that's what I wear fishing.
Nice.
So I mean, I do the crazy. Like if it's crazy and it's out there,
I'm ready.
I'm your guy. Like let's do it.
I feel like we talked about this. Your cabin, how far is that from Towanda, I think is the town name. Did we figure that out?
No.
You did?
I did.
Oh, you're talking to her? I was going to say,
yeah.
my cabin.
I feel like maybe I was.
Like
we
an
were
hour in some. But here's the problem. It's not technically mine, so I would literally have to ask permission to bring you there. I didn't even think about this. My wife was like, "Is your dad and like your uncle's gonna let them come over?" And I was like,
I'll pay.
No, I'll pay. You be paying me, motherfucker.
That's fine. Does it have? Is it like rustic, or does it have at least like a generator electricity type deal?
It's got electricity. We got a landline.
I'll pay.
Well, we don't have a landline anymore, but we have electricity.
If they take cash or check?
I take cash.
Okay.
Cash is king.
You get permission. I will sponsor your YouTube channel. Every video for that week will be sponsored by Binya Outdoors, and I will pay for. Because for real though, I'm gonna have to pay for a campground anyways.
Yeah, I have to ask them. We'll see.
Okay.
Because if it was me, I already told you like it would be 100% yes. But
they'll be up here. They'll be up here in May, right, for the trip. So I'll take them fish. Yeah.
You want to come up and meet my parents?
I'll come up.
I'll take dating, Mike.
I'll take them out. I'll take them out. No, I'll take them out in the bass boat and be like, "Hey, I hear you have a cabin in Pennsylvania."
My wedding ring. I need to put that bitch back.
We are not dating.
I'm taking my guy.
I'll show up in the bass tracker. I'm not bringing you. I'm bringing just them. I'm literally be like, "Hey, let's go fishing. You can jump in my bass boat. We'll go tour around Champlain." And then about halfway through the day, I'll be like, "I hear you have a cabin in Pennsylvania. I'm just curious."
Good luck. Oh, I'm out of.
This is pretty much what our podcast with her was about. Is like my brain of like, oh my god, wait, we could do this, and then like it was like, oh, we should totally do this type of collaboration, and like we went to like 3 different. We've already planned like 4 camp outs, and like.
And now we're doing an
inflatable duck fishing video.
I'm gonna bring a duck lure. Like I'm gonna get a duck lure.
They make it, yeah. I've seen
catching a duck, catching a bass in a duck
from my duck.
Ooh.
I almost caught a loon one day, and that was terrifying.
Oh god.
I had a loon chasing a jig, and I've never reeled a fucking bait so fast in my life because I casted it and I was reeling it back. And a loon swooped down at my jig and was chasing my jig. And I'm trying as hard as I can to get this thing away from that fucking loon. And it came out of the water.
Oh my God.
It was, and that's actually the reason for lead laws in Vermont. That's why there's a lead law, because the fucking loons eat the sinkers.
Oh, can I get a tungsten sponsor? Somebody?
So you know what's funny is it's actually the law is you can have it as long as it's attached to the hook. But for some reason, like, loons are just special. They're, like, special ed for lead. I don't know why. So they literally will eat lead sinkers, and it kills them, and then it, like, that's why they're endangered, because they keep eating lead weights. I did
not know that. I know that there's, like, a limit to the amount of lead you're allowed to have on your boat when you're on Champlain or something like that.
So you can't have a sinker under an ounce unless it's attached to a hook, technically. But you'll never get stopped for that. It's only if they happen to check you for licenses and then they notice you've got a bucket full of lead weights in your boat.
Not a bucket.
What's funny is, you know what's kind of funny is in Vermont too. It's also illegal to sell lead weights, and you go here every year. It's illegal to sell lead weights under an ounce. How many tackle stores do you go to that have 7 5-gallon buckets lined right up in front of the counter with hand-poured lead weights that are just sitting there?
But I don't buy them because I pour them myself.
Yeah, there's like... But yeah,
we do drop shot weights, and then we do, like, little jig heads.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know you pour your own. Yeah. We should talk, then. We should do a little bait exchange. I'll give
This is the 8th video we're doing together, Mike. I'm not complaining.
I'll get some.
My schedule, Jesus.
I'll get some. I'll trade you some soft plastics for some jig heads then.
But you're
could
not
work something
allowed
out.
to even have them. We just talked. You're not even
No, you can
allowed
have.
to have
No,
them.
if the weight's connected to the hook, it's fine.
I'm not going to be a part of that.
No, it's literally legal as long as it's connected to the hook.
Contributing to that.
There's literally video evidence
Yes, we just
that connects her to hold this
when
right
this
here.
plays in court, I will make it very clear. I am not a part of this. I solemnly swear that I am not going to be a part of this.
Well, while we're talking about crimes, did you know I painted all my lead baits with nail polish so I could use them in Massachusetts?
You're not allowed to use lead in Massachusetts.
At
Why?
all. 0 lead in Massachusetts. No lead.
Again, I need somebody who has non-lead products to help me out because
No, just paint them with black nail polish and they look like tungsten.
You can get that powder, right? You heat it and then you just.
Yep, yeah, and they look like tungsten.
Tungsten.
There's actually states though that there's actually states where that's what you're supposed to do. Like your lead has to be painted for whatever fucking reason. I don't know why.
This is why
what
I
difference
get
that
upset.
makes.
I have too many things in life to worry about. Why do we all have different rules?
Yep.
Well, because some of us are idiots. But like, I just can't. Like, I can't pay attention to the news because
it's the goddamn loons. I'm telling you, it's their fault.
My wife is just like all about it. Yeah, well, it's the loons. Like, she wakes up in the morning and she looks at the news. She looks at all of the and I'm just like, I can't function with all that information in my brain space.
Yep.
It's too much. Plus,
Absolutely.
there's nothing ever any good. Like, there's no good on the news.
No, that's why you guys should watch podcasts like the Spawn podcast or her
the
podcast.
The Adventures audio podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stop watching the news. Just listen to people ramble about duck floaties and lead weights and random adventures in parking lots with Jeeps. Because, that's what... Because this is a fishing podcast.
It is what you want it to be. That's
what's funny is this entire podcast started because I was bored in the wintertime.
Yeah.
That's the only purpose of this podcast was I wanted to make content in the wintertime and I got sick of not having something to do. And I was like, you know what? People like to talk about fishing. Maybe I can get them to talk about fishing on the internet. And then it just spun into this thing that now I do every other week. And it's not as consistent as we would like it because PJ has no control over his schedule. And to be honest, most people don't want to listen to me talk about fishing out of a duck floaty. They really want someone else's opinion on it too, but...
You know that video is going to get a lot of clicks.
We're doing it. We're doing it. I don't know how.
I know we are.
Matter of fact, I'm going to wear arm floaties and no shirt while I do it just to add the wow factor.
Please wear a shirt. The thumbnail is going to be like the floaties back to back. Both of us with all of our gear. It's going to be sweet. I'm ready. But that's the stuff that makes
got PJ
fun.
with a fly rod.
Got PJ in the back, just like
trying desperately not to hook the pool floaty on the back swing.
No, he will be. That's what makes it fun. We have to catch a fish before PJ pops the float. Just bring a 22. It'll all be over. Bam. Or a pistol, whatever you want. Or a slingshot. Bring a slingshot and try to pop it. Oh, what does that say? Can you please
I have no idea.
Say hi for...
I have no idea what that means.
Can we explain, Mary?
Yeah. Let's,
Hi.
Can we get a little further?
Yeah, hi.
Do the thumbs up. Do that. Do
this. No, you don't have an Apple product. I figured it out.
Do the heart thing. Do the heart thing.
It's an Apple thing.
Yeah. Do that. Yeah, do that.
So, no.
Do that. Yeah.
You can't. It's literally Apple. I figured it out. Yeah, so so I fuck with Bobby anytime he does a live stream on Instagram. So if you watch any of Bobby's lives, you'll get, hey guys, so we're here, we're talking about the things I'm gonna do, and oh, there's Binya, and then he'll be like, just read it, and I say something inappropriate, and you see him try to decide whether he's gonna say it or not. But we figured out, I got him to do that. And that's why Alex did it, because Alex was using an iMac.
Okay.
So it's an Apple.
Dude.
No, it's a feature of Apple,
It's Apple
that does it.
Apple special.
So literally, we
I'm a
were
droid guy, so I have no idea.
Bobby was on edibles.
But
Bobby
when is
was on
Bobby
edibles.
not on
No,
edible?
like Bobby was in rare form, Bobby.
Oh.
And
Like,
we were on the podcast, and Bobby was telling us a story. We were like an hour and a half in, and he was telling us a story. And he was like, "Yeah, and the bluegill was," and then like the hearts came out of his fucking hand, and Bobby is literally going, like he's followed him, and he goes, "Holy shit, the edibles kicked in!" Like he didn't know what to say. Like he was mesmerized, and then he did it again, and then he was like, "That's what that intro video. That's what that's about."
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't figure it out because like he would do this,
it wouldn't get it.
It was shoot,
and it would pop up, and it would pop up like little bubbles.
Yeah, and it would go.
Yeah,
it
and
was
we couldn't
crazy.
figure out what was doing it, and we thought it was like something that like people in the chat could like send emojis or something, and it was doing it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like he was like, and then it did it, and it was like fireworks behind him, and then he was like, and we did this for like 10 minutes.
Oh, I would be so distracted.
It was
nuts.
ADHD could not handle that.
It was literally how Alex was on his second time on this show, and the first thing he did, because he saw that intro that I showed the little pop up with all the different views, Bobby was doing the fireworks thing, and literally Alex stops mid intro and goes, and like it does the fireworks thing, and he's like, "This is freaking cool." He's like, "I didn't even know it did this."
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing, but
Also, Alex, when I'm on your podcast, I will clean my mouth up. It will be my parent. I love my parents. They did not raise me to be a potty mouth, but I grew up with all the boys on my street. So in 4th grade, I was cussing, like playing football with the boys, and then I would like go home and like keep it clean. And then once I hit like 8th grade, 9th grade, I can curse a little bit. I'm sorry.
You're a angler, I guess. I don't want to say fisherman because that's like the wrong term, but
if you say fishing girl, I'd smack you. I'm a fisherman. I'm an outdoorsman. That's
okay.
It's gender neutral, I guess.
I never see. That's the thing is like I've gotten shit for that, and like one of the things that I actually had people give me shit in my comments one time because I said guys like as a generic, like to me I'm generalizing.
Guys to me is general. Guys.
And like so like I would start videos and be like, "Hey guys, today what we're gonna do," and I had somebody like literally go in the comments and be like, "Well, girls watch fishing too," and I'm like,
that's why I say guys. Hey guys.
yeah, like I do it all the time, and I actually like I'm now like cognizant of it to the point where like I don't even do intros anymore because I stopped doing intros because I was like, "Hi everyone," like it's like I'm like Barney, I'm like, "Hello everyone," and I felt like an idiot.
You could say, "Hey ladies and gentlemen," and then you'll have somebody who's like, "But I don't identify as that." And I'm not doing shade. I'm just saying. You can do whatever you want. You can try to fit all of the check marks. Somebody will have an issue with something that you do.
It's funny because I'm nowhere near big enough to have like the following like Alex Rudd or anything like that. But I love the comment shit because my best video to date was me bitching about jet skiers at a tournament in Massachusetts.
You should have bitched about jet skiers on pleasure boaters.
Well, we were at I was with Sean and I was at an MAKB tournament. Mm-hmm. And literally one of the guys in the tournament fished a dock, okay? The dock had no fishing signs on it. Well, that's not a thing. Like, in Massachusetts, in Vermont, and a lot of states, fishermen can fish the water. You just can't, like, jump up on their shoreline.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand
on
your rig.
So he's fishing the dock, and the guy had one of those, like, 1980s, like, jet skis with, like, the bar that lifts.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, me. Like, it's so fucking loud, and it goes very slow as shit. So this guy got pissed off, and he started driving around and buzzing by all the kayaks that were fishing in the tournament to fuck with us.
First of all, that's dangerous.
And he was literally doing this, like, for most of the day. So I happened to catch the video of him coming, like, behind my kayak, like, my kayak's here, and you see it, like, me. me, and then it like comes around, and then it comes back, and then he goes in front of me, and all I said in the video was, "What a fucking asshole." So, me being me, I put up a short that says, "We need to ban jet skis." And let me tell you, I might as well have picked a random religion and said that their God's not real, because the response I got in the comment, I had 500 comments the next morning. I had 10,000 views on that video after posting it at like 6 o'clock. And I got called Plastic Boat Boy and Pedal Boy, and you're just jealous because you can't afford it. To which, of course,
not true. Have you seen my kayak?
my ego was like, dude, do you realize that the old town I'm in costs more than that fucking jet ski that you were talking about? The
fish finder unit that I'm using is just as much as your.
Yeah, like literally, I actually responded to a few, and then I was like, no, I don't need to. So literally, I just changed it to, I don't even remember, like, we need to ban these people or something. Okay. And I literally got like 20,000 views from one minute video of some asshole on a jet ski. So, like, I'm not afraid to, like, just throw it out on there.
I don't understand why that is the immediate response. Come out and talk to me, but also, that's the type of person who is putting no fishing all over something that is very legal to fish on a body of water. Like, you're there to the person whose property or whatever this was. You're there, you're on that lake. You obviously like the jet ski, you're more of the pleasure boater type. Your neighbor might be the hunting type who prefers to, hunt waterfowl or whatever. And the other neighbor might be a fisherman who everybody on that body of water doesn't have the same hobbies or whatever, but, like, we all have to respect each other.
Yep.
And be respectful and, like, go about your life, but don't be an asshole about it.
One of my favorite videos.
We immediately go to asshole with the signs that say no fishing.
Yep.
And then your actions take you to, like, double douchebag mode of circling somebody in a plastic boat. Like, that's not safe, and that's not cool to do, man. Not cool.
My favorite video was actually down by you, Ike and Ellie. So one day he was bass fishing and he was just flipping around docks, right? And this lady came out fucking storming, right? And she's like, "You can't fish that dock." And he was literally, he's a professional angler. So he's got a wrapped boat, he's got logos all over him. So he has to play it kind of friendly because he represents a brand. So he's like, "No problem." So then he goes down to another dock. Which is like a good 100 yards from where that other dock was. And she trucks her ass across the shoreline, runs down that dock. "You can't fish this dock either." And he literally, like, it's funny because he had a moment. You saw him calculating, like, do I care? No. He hits a spot lock and he says, "Actually, I can fish anything that's in the water, and I wasn't going to fish it, but now I am." And he actually stayed there for like an hour and a half fishing that dock. Like, he wasn't even going to fish that dock, but he stayed there because she was such a bitch about it. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I've had both sides of it, because I've had people, I always feel like that's going to happen. When I come up to a dock, like, if I go to somebody's dock and they're on it, I'm not going to fish it. If somebody's, like, laying on their dock, sunbathing or reading a book, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to flip that dock. The person's on their dock. Or if they're even on their shoreline, I'm not going to fish their dock out of respect of their space. But if I'm fishing a dock that's completely vacant and somebody comes running out, I've had so many people literally come running out, and I'm like, oh, here. And to be honest, part of me, because I don't mind conflict, I'm like, GoPro, start recording. Let's go. I want to get this video. But then, like, it's always like, hey, how's the fishing? And I'm like, aw, this is a nice guy.
You're creating gold.
I've had so many people, like, freak out about dumb shit like that.
Yeah. No, I will, just like with boaters, if a boat passes me by, try to make the eye contact, try to wave, how you doing? If you want to talk, not. If you want to talk, let's shoot the shit. If you don't, okay, hi, how are you? Like, I'm here, you're there. Same thing with the dock. If I'm approaching a dock, first of all, if there's a dog anywhere in the vicinity, I'm going to say hi to that dog. Yep. Second of all, if there are people, whether it's on their lawn or whatever, I'll be like, hey, how are you? Like, good, are you?
Yep.
How's the weather? Blah, blah, blah. Is it cool if I fish this, or would you just prefer me to keep moving, or whatever? 9 times out of 10, actually, I've never had a negative experience with somebody. Knock on whatever. But yeah, just like common courtesy, you know, say hi, be respectful, get a feel for the person,
Yep.
ask them if it's cool. I mean, you don't have to, but
Yeah.
be
No,
respectful.
I agree.
Ask them if it's cool. 9 times out of 10, like the people that I've seen at the dock, whatever, and then I catch a fish off of it, they're like, yeah. They're usually drunk. They're usually having a few drinks, and they're just like,
Yep.
whoa, a fish. And I'm like, it's like this big.
You ever have, like, when you don't know that you have an audience and you catch a fish?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know how many times I've been, like, fishing along a shoreline and then, like, hook a bass, and all of a sudden I hear, like, a crowd, like, an elated crowd clapping and cheering me on, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Poor Pete
I actually
doesn't have that, because he's in the middle of nowhere, fly fishing.
No, yeah, exactly. You got beavers chasing you out of your dams, but that's about it, yeah.
I'm not gonna bother him.
The funniest, the one place I thought I was gonna have a conflict is I went on one of those floating rafts, and I didn't realize that these guys were home, and I wasn't paying attention, and I was like literally flipping a jig under it, and I fucked up and cast it too far, and it had that like AstroTurf shit stapled to it, and my jig landed on that AstroTurf, and it kind of dug in just enough where I wasn't going to be able to pop it free. So then I start like kind of doing the like covert, like, oh, I'm not actually going over to your raft to unhook my hook from your property. And then like I get over there and like I realize like there's literally two dudes drinking beer in camp chairs fucking 20 yards on the other side of this dock.
Like, what's this fucker gonna do?
And I literally looked at them, and like you said, it was one of those, and I literally looked at them and I'm like, my bad. I'm just going to get this out of here. I'm really sorry. And they're like, you want a beer? And I'm like, fine. I'm like, yes, these are my people. So I ended up, like, talking to them for, like, they're like, oh, how you doing? And, like, but it was, like you said, it's, like, you can have two ways. You could be, like, a dick, go over there and yank your bait out of there and cut their carpet and leave. Or you can have that, like, pleasant interaction, like... And that's what I try to do. Like, the best thing to do with landowners like that is tell them they have a beautiful property.
Yep. Oh.
You'd be like, oh, your property is beautiful here.
They do.
And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, I see you're fishing. And it's like, sometimes it actually works out really good. Because when you do that, sometimes they'll be like, listen, about 2 docks down,
yeah, is the juice.
They always catch big ones down there. Or they'll be like, right here, the guys were throwing underneath my dock earlier, and they caught a 5-pounder. And they'll give you, like, this juice that you didn't know because they'll be, like, friendly about it. Sometimes they'll be like, stay the fuck away from me, but...
You flip that jig right there. And yep. Okay. I don't know why they're southern, but they are.
What also baffles me too, though, is people who live on the water, and I think as a fisherman, it's a weird perspective for me. Is like they'll be like, "What are you catching them basses?" Like they don't know what the fuck species. Like they have no idea that there's something in that water that like I think about 365 days a year, and to them, it's not even a fucking thing. It's the weirdest thing to me. Is like, how could you own a dock on a lake and not have 2 boats and 3 on shore attached to it? Like, it would not be good if I had direct access to a lake at all times.
Yeah, if and when I have a property on the water somewhere, I am setting up like the perfect situation.
I'll have my own boat ramp. I'll pour it myself.
Putting boulders and stumps, and I'm gonna have a nice dock with pillars. I don't want no floating dock because those fish don't want that. They want structure. I'm putting some pillars in there, metal, slick, whatever.
About 75 of those 5-gallon buckets with 50 stringers of PVC out of there.
The only thing that's under that is some bluegill and perch when you're in Vermont. But yeah, no, when I because we've all done it. When I've accidentally hooked a dock or whatever, I go over to it and I'm like, whatever. I always think that people are watching me anyway, so I'm always just kind of whatever. Yep. I've had to go on a dock, get it. I'll always turn around and just be sorry.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
My bad, do what you got to do. Because, I got to get my lure back. And, I'm sure I'm not the first or last person who's going to be like, fuck, I accidentally got stuck on, your wooden dock or whatever. So, yeah, I try not to, cast around the expensive boats. But also the people that have boats, for the most part, know that, you're running a risk. There's going to be people fishing here just like you want to be a pleasure boater or what have you. Yeah. So, I always approach things respectfully, as maturely as possible. And with a positive mindset first. Now, if you approach me with the opposite, I will also approach you with that attitude.
Yeah.
I will meet your level. I'm a 5'1" pistol if I have to be. I was raised right, but I was raised with boy cousins too. Like I can hold my own if I have to. I don't want it to be that, but if it has to come to, like, if we have to have a discussion, we're gonna have a discussion. But no, I just try to always be respectful and polite right off the bat, and then if you can tell right away when somebody is cool or not cool. There's really no in between.
You ever have those? I don't know how much you fish from a kayak, but like the biggest like pucker moment for me is like when I skip a jig into a pontoon, and you get that like ping, like that is the most supersonic fucking sound. Like, I swear they can hear that 3 states over. Like, there's something about if you accidentally hit... Like, I'm always trying to, like, sneak my bait just in between the pontoons or between the dock and the pontoon. I think I'm slick.
That's where
and you, like... and you get that jig in there, and it makes this metallic, like, I don't know how to explain that sound other than, like, at that moment... Like, all the color just leaves my face, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like, you just feel so bad, and you know, like, I did absolutely nothing to that steel pontoon, but, like, I just literally rang the dinner bell for whoever's, like, in the vicinity, and they know I hit that dock.
No fish will ever eat that.
Like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I will, like... Bradley literally said, you rang the Karen alarm.
Oh, no.
That's literally, like...
Did we ever get a clarification from Mary? Mary about the saying hi to somebody?
I don't know.
Come on, man, get on it.
her brother's name is Bobby. Oh. I got some thumbs up. I think that might have been our first pickup from the shorts thing, because we've got some people in here. Like I got Cole Smith in here that I've never seen before. So I think we are picking up some people from the shorts feed, which is cool. So you should actually think about doing yours alive.
Me?
Yeah.
I have
instead of Zoom.
About it.
This is free. We don't pay for the stream. This StreamYard's free if you do the basic.
Lighting is ass.
Well, yeah, but...
Like, I've got 2 lights right here that with Zoom is perfect. Right now, I just look like a great...
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you've had 3 people watching this video for 2 hours and 21 minutes. So if you do your math, think about the watch time hours and views that you're getting from that from your... Just saying.
Math is a lot, okay?
I'm just saying. To watch our YouTube content creation podcast, it's going to be later on. This is going to be kind of the topics that happen, but it's not... I'm just saying it's not a bad idea if you want to bring your guests on to do a live like this, because it does bring people on. I'll watch it, and I'll heckle you in the chat, and then you can... try to focus on your topic while I'm down there going...
in your place, I just can't wait. Like... What was it? Last weekend you were hitting me up and I was like, dude, I'm with family right now, so I'll just get back to you. And you just like sent me like 5 more messages and I was like, I'm not answering this message right now.
See, so I will admit, and I'm bad about this. So I have a friend that, like, when she ghosts me because she's busy, I will literally send her 1-word messages on all of her social media platforms. So
you're an asshole.
It blows up her phone.
That her phone is blowing up and then has to...
I actually almost broke her phone one day because I sent her so many messages that it almost vibrated off of the table and fell on the floor. Yeah. But I apologize for that. I forget that people... Like, because the way I handle messages is different. Like, if I'm busy, I'll just queue them up and then I'll fire answers out later. So, like, I'll have, like, 70... Like, literally, looking at my phone right now, I have 12 new messages.
Okay.
So I will fire answers to all 12 of those messages when I get off this podcast all at once. Right. And then they'll forget that they were even having a conversation. But my ADD brain can track all these conversations in chronological order and respond to them like 4 days later. Nope. So I forget that other people don't have that brain power. So when you were like, yeah, I'm with family, I'm like, okay, well, here's the 7 things that are in my brain that I don't want to forget.
Bruh.
So I forget about that. So just ignore my messages. I don't even expect you to answer them. I throw them up there because if I don't put them in writing, I'm gonna forget, and then I'm gonna forget to ask you later.
That's fair. No, you won't. A question for you: do you have any tattoos, Mike?
I don't. And
TJ, your tattoo. You're done. TJ, what tattoos you got?
I'm all tatted up. I mean, I got this arm, starting with my hand from my hand.
Yeah.
Fishing.
What is that?
That's a fish.
Oh, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got it. I got
Yeah.
it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
See, that's my starboard side.
Oh yeah, you got the elbow, the star elbow.
Oh,
All right, flex.
Start
Flex
elbow, all the way up. Oh yeah.
Are you a married man, PJ?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, ladies, he's taken. All right.
Man, we go. There's my trout. There's my trout tattoo.
Oh, that's
Can that one show?
sick.
That's a brown trout for you, Mike, right there. And then I got some tattoos on my legs, and I'm currently getting ready to start my back piece.
Oh, sweet, Mike. When are you getting a tattoo?
I was telling PJ actually in a previous episode, it's kind of a joke, but it's almost serious, is I almost want to get like an actual accurate 12-inch like ruler on my cat, like up my leg so I can measure fish without having to actually get my measuring board.
Why wouldn't you just get it on your arm?
Because it's in a kayak, it's actually easier to just hold the fish down so it doesn't jump off the kayak. But no,
Depends on what kayak you're in.
There's
That's
my next
true.
tattoo. Can you see that?
Oh my!
That is
an
cool.
Owl with some snow goggles and some mountains.
Yeah,
That is
right?
sick.
That's gonna be my whole back, man. That's gonna be.
That's nice.
So me and my best friend are actually planning on getting a tattoo at some point. Her boyfriend is a tattoo artist.
Wait. Your best friend, who is a
so okay, yeah, you want to hear? Okay, so ready? Are you sitting down and?
Yeah.
Okay, so wrap your head around this. My best friend that I've never physically met is a female that lives in Arizona. So I'm a gamer, and I met her in a Halo lobby.
Okay.
And I literally talked to her. I've literally had more conversations today with her than my wife.
All right, now we're getting into like a weird gray area.
No, it isn't. So my wife literally calls her my Xbox wife. Like, no joke. And it's
I don't want to pay attention to this one.
Yeah, no, she's literally the female me. Like, if you take my personality, female me.
Okay.
And her boyfriend is a tattoo artist, like a really, really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I was actually like asked to be on like Ink Master and stuff, but he didn't want to because he didn't want to like do the gimmicky shit that he didn't want to do, like the gimmicky shit. Because what I found out about that show is apparently like a lot of that stuff is scripted, like a lot of the weird conflicts.
What do you mean? Like, it has to be.
So,
yeah,
but he's like,
it's all about ratings.
You have to have a beginning, a middle, and end. It has to start here, has to come up here, come back down. You have to.
So we were planning on doing like literally a matching tattoo at some point, and I've had a few that like I want to do, but to be honest, part of it has been, and I know I make these jokes a lot, so it sounds like I'm like pity party, but like I gained 100 pounds in the last year, and I don't want to get a tattoo because my plan is to start dieting and getting my weight down. And I don't want to like get a tattoo that's like 350-pound Mike tattoo, and then if I get down to like 200-pound Mike tattoo, it looks like something that a fucking 6-year-old drew because it's smushed up.
That's fair.
So I'm kind of waiting to get, and I also have always worked like up until recently. Well, I can't really say recently. Like my current employer wouldn't give a shit. When I worked at the bank, they literally, if you had tattoos, they had to be covered. So I've worked a lot of jobs where like you couldn't have visible tattoos. So it wasn't really like, if I'm going to get a tattoo, it's going to be like, I'm not going to get a face tat, but like I want to get something that's going to be visible, and I'm not going to like want to have to like hide it 99% of the time.
Right, but were you wearing like tank tops when you worked at the bank? Like,
well, so like my goal would be to get like a forearm tat kind of deal.
Well, you're wearing a long sleeve, it'd be covered.
No. Not at the bank. See, that's what's cool is the one thing we were allowed to do is wear polos.
Oh.
So I could wear t-shirts. I don't wear, literally the only time I wear long sleeves is for this podcast and fishing.
Yeah.
That's it. And this is literally a sun shirt. It's not like a...
I know, I can tell
it's like It's one of those like wicking.
It's not real tree.
No, it is. It's real. This one's real tree.
Those are the antlers right there. Oh, look at me knowing my stuff.
See, I actually like Bass Dash better
Do you?
because it's fat friendly.
Oh, okay.
Bass Dash is, and I'm gonna say this because they keep refusing me to be an affiliate, so fuck them. They're AFCO knockoff. That's what they are.
You said it.
All their stuff is AFCO knockoff. Like, they have a hoodie that's basically the Reaper hoodie. All their t-shirts are basically AFCO t-shirts. But no, there's some company from Japan that don't give a shit about my 300 subscribers. So, but
Soraya, my wife is home. Soraya, Mike's trying to make a pass at me. Her face. Are you wearing your wedding ring? Me neither.
see, there you go.
Do you want to get it? Yeah, get it and show Mike. This mother effer right here. She's wearing a marble hat. Are you wearing? Wait, is Deadpool marble? Okay, marble hat and a marble hoodie.
Is she gonna fish out of the duck tube too?
Soraya, so she goes, "Oh Jesus, what?" So you know those? Okay, so you know how you went tubing on the river in your duck thing that you popped? Was it a duck or a unicorn?
Turkey.
It was a turkey. Turkeys. They make turkeys.
Turkey.
So we're gonna get giant inflatable ducks, and we're gonna do like a fishing challenge out of the inflatable. Don't roll your eyes. You're gonna be there.
Are you be on a duck or a turkey? Because I'll pop that shit again.
Duck. Come say hi.
Whatever animal you want.
Is it the sparkle? Oh no, it's the regular ring. Say hi to my wife. Here, I'll do this for you, gorgeous.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hello.
How to
Which
be-
one's Mike?
Mike is the
Okay.
top one. Sorry, and that's PJ.
Hello.
Oh yeah, so this is.
She's trying to figure out which one's hitting on her.
She's trying to figure out what the annoying asshole that keeps messaging her all the time. She's like, I want to put a face to the text message.
I can't even see what I'm doing. So this is a terrible example. So our ring has 3 inlays. One of them's the antler. One of them is jade or emerald.
I seen the green on there. Yep.
And then the black is crushed up rocks from Vermont, off of Champlain, and then from Portugal, because those are like our 2 favorite places. And technically it should
That's
be right
cool.
here, but this one's way too small for me because she's got dainty little hands.
That's funny.
You have what fingers?
Doctor fingers?
Doctor fingers?
Skinny
fingers. Yeah, okay.
So what tattoos do you have? We didn't go down that. We didn't see that.
So my tattoo is look at me moving my arm. It's the mountains. So they're technically matching. I'll explain. So it's the mountains. There's my bus on there. I can't even see what I'm doing. There's my bus. There's trees. There's a lake. There's my dog. And then there's word yes. So I designed these. We got these on New Year's last year. So 2 New Years ago. Hers is Portugal themed. But it's the same thing. Can you let me talk? You're going to have to leave because this is interrupting the show.
Get it right. It was last week.
Shut up.
I mean, we can just get her a headset and mic, and we can probably throw another person on.
Literally 2 New Years ago was last New Year's. So what I said and what you said, it's the same thing.
But it sounds wrong.
Hold on. I've got her email from the Zoom. You want me just to send her an invite and we can hash this out on the podcast?
Maybe on the pod, Mike Vasky. Looking like that, girl. Come on. I'll just take the headphones off.
I mean, we can throw her right on the pod, and you guys can hash this out. Me and PJ will just mediate it.
Okay, give me a second. Okay. This is when you need to play like doo, 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 doo. I don't need those anymore. Say something so I can hear my volume.
Volume?
Can you hear me now?
Can you-
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
What you doing?
Good. Hello.
This is lovely.
The volume is probably awful.
What are you doing?
I'm fixing your volume.
She's touching something.
She's technical supporting the shit out that.
And Mike.
Today's episode is sponsored by. Oh, we're back.
You're back. You were always here.
You never left.
This is her serious face. It's probably because it's on the microphone. Oh, she's trying to change it.
All you do is change the volume output to...
I love this. I love technology, guys.
This is the technical troubleshooting hour of the podcast.
Here.
See what other podcast is like? Okay, now bring your significant other on, and we're gonna do another hour with them, and then roll with that.
I'm very awkward. I don't think I can last a whole hour
You're fine.
on a podcast.
Okay, go do yourself a favor and go back and watch the last 2 hours and 33 minutes because it's basically me going, "Hey, I just met this girl, but I'm gonna trash talk her. She's gonna trash talk me, and we're gonna talk about fishing out of a duck." So I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. So the tattoo.
Oh yes.
So basically, this one has 13 tattoos. So she's tatted up. She's got a wolf. She's got a bear. She's got all the cool stuff. And I had wanted a tattoo, and I was like, I don't know. My parents do not like them. And then I was just like, screw it. And basically, the word yes is because I've heard a lot of people tell me no, that I can't. I've also listened to that inner voice in my head tell me like, no, you're not good enough. Don't chase the dream. It's not going to happen. And I finally told myself, like, no, we're not listening to that. Like, we need to tell ourselves, like, yes, we are. We can be loved. We're good enough. Like, we're going to do it. So I wanted the word yes. But then I was like, well, I can't just put the word yes because I could, but I'm so extra. So I spent about 3 weeks on my computer, my happy place. So, like, the bus wasn't finished. It's still not. But, like, it was in a very dormant state where I had kind of given up on it almost. And we were at the point where she was like trying to get me to do it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So I made the bus on here. I obviously have to have my dog, and then like just the mountain scene with the trees and the lake. Obviously the outdoors are my happy place, so I put that on my arm. And then for this one, because we wanted matching but we didn't want matching tattoos, so hers is Portugal themed because that's where like her happy place is, and hers says the word yes in Portuguese, and there's a few like landmarks and stuff on there. So
That's cool.
we got them done by a dude who has converted a Sprinter van into his tattoo shop. So we got tatted
Nice.
out of a van from a guy that we had never met before on New Year's Eve.
See,
But
that
the
sounds
story
more
is
like a
awesome.
Vermont thing.
Yeah.
The story is everything. Like whenever you get a
Yeah.
tattoo, the tattoo tells the story.
I know,
And the
right?
story that goes with your tattoo, I mean, just makes it, that much better for both of you. I mean, that's
Yeah.
exciting. That's awesome.
So yeah, it was a really great, just because like we were like, you know what, let's do New Year's like Eve and New Year's together. So we got like a hotel in Philly. It wasn't anything fancy. We fell asleep kind of before New Year's even happened. At some point, I rolled over. I was like, Happy New Year. Like we were drained. But he's an ex-military guy. The name of his studio is Mars Made. And just super cool dude. Like he was running a live when he did it. He was like, I'm tattooing this girl and her girlfriend, and he was like very LGBT. Like if you have a problem with it, like you gotta go. And he was just really cool dude. Supported us, and it was just like it was a great like weekend for us.
That's cool.
To get the tattoos. So at some point, I'm sure my arm will have more. Obviously, I want to have like my logos, my wilderness, whatever. But it'll just be one arm, I think.
You say that now.
I say
Yeah,
that
I
now.
was gonna say, yeah, that's
And suddenly you have 13 tattoos.
But it's been
yeah.
but no. What you don't understand about her, she has an Excel sheet, pages of all the tattoos that she wants.
Yeah. Like where they are, color, non-color, meaning, everything.
She's getting another one in April.
Yep.
By the same girl that did the one on her wrist. Like it's
Ow.
smack
The
me.
addiction is real. The addiction is
addiction,
real
yeah.
with them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's PJ. He's got them all like on. He's got his arms and everything. So that's why I brought it up. And Mike's a wimp, so he
Nice.
doesn't have any.
Yeah. So they just
Mike's,
flow.
yeah, we'll go with that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a wimp.
I
You're
have a giant sweater on and I'm cozy. So I
I don't blame you.
Maybe you don't have to show your skin on here. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's a different website I run, and the subscription is no.
We will be making money off of that for sure.
Yeah.
So no.
Hey, gas is expensive. I'm just saying. I sell toe picks, $1 a toe.
Yeah, and since you want me to drive all the way up there tomorrow,
I actually got. Did you know I actually got put in Facebook jail because I said that?
what?
So one of my friends put a post up, and it was like, one of those like group posts. It's like, I want to support all my friends that sell things. So post what you sell here on Facebook. And I said a picture of my foot, and I said $1 a toe. First one's free. And I got I got an email from Facebook saying I put sexually explicit content and that my channel was blocked for a week. And I'm like, because of my hairy toe? Like, what the fuck?
people
Yeah.
are so into that, and I so don't understand it. But good for them.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's a very inappropriate statement, but it's a good thing I'm not a female, because I'd have billboards, I'd have an OnlyFans. Like, I'm not. There's no. Embarrassment wasn't a feature when they created me. It wasn't something that was added in. So, like, I will literally walk my dog in my boxers, and I have neighbors that are, like, in my yard, and I'm waving to them. Like, I don't care.
Mike, what you don't understand is
I wonder who else does that.
See, we get along because we're very like-minded. I'm just saying.
you're not understanding that you are some ladies type out there. Like, you could make money.
Oh,
Who you are, Mr. Mike. Okay. So
I've tried. I've thought about it.
I've tried.
I've thought about it.
Oh my
This
hair.
podcast has crashed and burned.
Yes, it has.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my end.
no,
that was my intro.
no, it really wasn't.
No.
It really wasn't.
He said that as to get on. Like, okay.
Yours was
Yeah.
like the most PG, nice part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Aside from me telling people about my YouTube channel, this was the nice part.
The funniest part is I'm sitting here like she's gonna see my face and now she knows who I am, so she's like, who's this asshole that's been messaging her like all the time? I blow everybody's phone up like it's not a ask PJ. I literally one day driving to a tournament at 2:00 in the morning called PJ to talk fishing strategy because he was awake. He was like on Facebook, and I was like, the little green dot showed up, and I was like, "Hey, are you awake? I'm going to the lake. Do you think I should use a chatterbait or a swim jig?" And we had a 2-hour conversation while I drove to the water at 2 a.m.
I like how that was your thought process when you could have just tied one on or both on and tried either.
I had to talk about why. It's my brain.
Talk.
It's ADHD.
No, he has ADD.
It's same thing.
It is the same shit. Which one do you have? ADD.
So you know what the difference between ADHD and ADD is? Is literally it's the hyper part. So it's like you would like just start like, and ADD has ADHD tendencies, so it doesn't really matter.
It does.
But at the end of the day, it's the oh shiny. But with the oh shiny, it's like oh squirrel. But with ADHD, you've got to chase the squirrel now. You can't just see it. You have to then run after it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
why
much
we
how it
work
works.
well together. That's funny.
But it's that's. Go ahead. My bad.
No. So there's one. Soraya made one rule, Mike, and it's that me and her have to go to the reservoir camping first before I go with you.
Okay.
And that's fair
Fine.
because that's where she proposed.
I highly recommend. I don't know if you've checked it out, but they have primitive sites there.
This one probably has.
So I don't know if you checked it out or not, but there's so you have to still pay for a site, but
Yeah.
it's you boat in, and then it's just primitive site. It's
Yeah.
right on the edge of the water, and
So, yeah,
I was literally there today. Like I was ice fishing there today.
That's where you were?
That's where I was today at Waterbury.
So you're in Vermont.
Yeah, he's.
Oh yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah. I literally was at Waterbury Reservoir. I was fishing 50 yards from the dam today.
Oh, so you were literally at our spot. That's cute.
So yeah, I was. We went out of the Little River access and we were fishing right there by the dam. So.
So if my memory serves me correct, PJ is from Pennsylvania. He's in. Oh my god. He's moved a lot. He's now somewhere different.
I don't even know if I could answer this, to be honest.
Ohio
actually.
State.
Are you
There
in
you go.
Ohio?
No, I'm not.
No, exactly.
I went from Ohio. I moved. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. Moved across the state line to Ohio.
Ohio.
Lived there for 20 years. Moved down to Alabama.
I knew Alabama.
Moved back up to Indiana, and now I'm looking to move back.
He has
To
Pittsburgh.
Or to Ohio?
What's that?
Pittsburgh.
To Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I'm looking to move back to the Pittsburgh area. Both my kids live in around Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. Oh, so it's
Most of my family live in Pittsburgh, PA, and they're all getting older, so we're kind of trying to get back towards Pittsburgh to be towards family. If my kids start having kids, then we're kind of like right there. So that's the main goal. Because when I went Jeep camping this weekend, I was 8 hours,
Right.
which isn't far, but in
It is.
essence,
It
like
is a little
8
bit.
hours that's a trip. You know what I mean? That was a
Yeah.
trip in itself.
That's how long it takes me to get to Champlain.
It takes 6. It's not that bad.
Yeah, see, I mean, they're not that bad if it's something that you want to do, and I don't mind doing it.
You know, it's
But
funny
if
is
something happens, you just
Yeah.
can't jump in your vehicle and be
If-
there at the drop of a hat. You
That's
know.
true. If Mike was to dangle like 3 to 4 days of fishing, I would do it.
I kind of did.
No, shut up.
I said I have Monday off. If you'd said you wanted to come up Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I would have figured it out.
I'm working.
Saying.
I'm working.
I that's all I do on the weekends. Like my entire weekend consists of like we both have very understanding significant others. Like my wife literally will be like she knows Saturday, Sunday during the summertime I leave before daylight and I'm back after dark.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be like she'll text me halfway through the day and ask me what I want for dinner, but that's about the only conversation we're going to have unless something happens and she needs me to like come home because the dogs are, need to go to the vets or something. But like,
is your wife on the live? Does she ever watch any of your lives?
No, because she's not really that into fishing. Like she'll go with me and she does like she enjoys being on the water and she enjoys being in the boat. Her idea of fishing is to throw a whopper plopper off the back and just drag it behind the boat and then giggle at the sound it makes because she thinks it's cool. That's like her favorite sound. Like I literally will send her videos of me fishing a chopo because she's like I'm like, can you identify this bait? And she's like, yeah, that's a chopo. And I'm like, she knows the difference between a chopo and a whopper plopper by sound.
That's funny.
You got to get her a duck. It's awesome.
I might have to.
I hear it a handful of times. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna get duck swim trunks for our duck thing. So, dude, I'm gonna be a duck. Like I'm gonna be a duck in a duck throwing a duck.
Yep.
I thought you were getting the little mouse looking thing.
No.
Oh.
I'm getting.
Are you gonna borrow my duck?
No, I'm getting my own duck with the company credit card
That we don't have?
Yeah, so this is actually a good point too. Michael Bradley said, so this happened in one of my videos. So there was one day, that day I was telling you when I broke the rod. Mm-hmm. So I called my wife. I pedaled down through the blank of my rod. So literally pedaled down through it, broke it in half, called my wife and said, hey, I'm fishing right now and I just broke a rod. Can you go to Dick's and get me the medium heavy 13-5 black moderate action? And she delivered it to the boat ramp. So she literally, yeah, exactly. Like she has that level of like, she understands that like fishing is my Prozac.
Yeah.
So she knows that, like, I need that to be functional as a human. So she just kind of accepts the fact that I'm going to be recording for 8 hours. Like, today, for example, she's been home all day. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, drove to a lake that's 2.5 hours away, fished all day, came home, ate pizza that she cooked so that I could have it when I got home, and then ran up here and talked to a girl I met one time in Massachusetts for 3 hours on the internet.
Yes, sir.
Like, that's how you know you have the right significant other, because she doesn't, like, legitimately isn't going to be mad or care. Like, it's just, she just understands that that's how it works.
I just genuinely, first of all, the way you talk about your wife is amazing. I wish that she at least listened to some of this so that she could hear the fact that you actually do love this woman. She loves you. You support her. You appreciate her.
I think she does watch some stuff, but to be honest, as funny as it sounds from the content creator side, if she's not going to watch all 3 hours, it fucks up my analytics, so she might as well just not.
Babe, just don't watch my shit.
If you click into the video, like, I will tell you right now, like, I watched our podcast.
Thank you.
And I watched the whole thing because I wanted you to get the whole hour of watch time. Like, that's I know how the analytics work, so I will watch a video of my friends that I hate, but I'll watch the whole thing because I know that it will then give the algorithm more juice to push it to the next person.
If you skip to it, does that...
It literally records from the minute you click play, and it tracks how long you watch it, and then if you click off of it, that's what your retention stat is. We're going to go into this in the other podcast. I don't want to confuse people. But basically, like... how long they watch it, and if they click from, like, if you're on one of your friends' videos and you want to watch something else, first click to one of their other videos. Mm-hmm. watch like a short and then go. Because if you watch another person's video, if you watch 2 of their videos in a row, it puts you into like a list and then it will share both of those videos. So you said you have Excel sheets of tattoos. I have Excel sheets of literally what time I release my videos, what day of the week I release my videos, how many views they get, what content they consisted of, because I'm trying to figure out how to grow this thing. And it's not really for financial gain. It's honestly to create a network. That's the whole, like, me meeting PJ, me meeting Janelle. The whole point of this was I want to create a group of people that we kind of, because we're the next, in my mind, the next generation of YouTube. So, like, instead of having all these individuals that got one video and blew up, that's not going to happen anymore, because at the end of the day, Google wants to make money. So they're purposely pushing down all these channels to prevent them from getting big, because they don't want to have to pay anybody.
Right.
But if we can do it together and learn the algorithms and say, hey, I found this secret out that made my videos do better, and you do that as a community, then you get people like, you can't see it, but in this chat, we were saying this earlier, there's a group of like 6 people that watch all of my lives, all of my other podcast lives, are probably going to now check out Janelle's lives. They watch Alex Rudd's live. Like, they watch everybody's lives because they enjoy that. And you make this group that like kind of follows you. And that's really what I want, is to have this like core community that just is involved. Because I would rather have 500 subscribers for the rest of my life that I actually engage with 300 of them than to have 50,000 subscribers that I've never met and never had any contact with.
Right. Yeah.
Because I make enough money that I don't care about this being a job for me. It's just for networking and entertainment.
Oh.
And I'm not rich. I just...
I'm not rich either. So, like, teamwork makes the dream work might be a very cheesy line, but it is very true.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be where I am without her. She wouldn't be where she is without me. But like, no, or the people around you, like, there's times when you can't do it alone, and it's okay to ask for help. And there's other times when someone else needs the help and you can give it to them. Like, it takes a village. Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, you just gotta.
It's a lot of lines.
It's a lot of lines. Thank you.
I think she's got like 4 more cliches. She had them in the other pod, so let her go. She's gonna spit them out.
But it's true, and like, I'm very blessed to have this one next to me. You're blessed to have your wife, PJ. You're blessed to have your wife. That didn't sound sincere, but it's true. Like, I am very grateful.
PJ, go get your wife. We need her on the pod too. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get her down here.
Well,
Yeah, that ain't gonna
like,
happen.
Mike, I mean, but no, like, it's just it's teamwork. It's the people around you. It's the friends, family. It's all of that. Even like somebody that you met at a bar and letting you park, and sleep in their brother's parking lot. Like, it's great. That's
The supportive wife thing, I will say, you have a special ability, because I will tell you, before I met some of my buddies that do YouTube, I understand how annoying it is to have them go, babe, look at this transition. Isn't this cool? Isn't it cool how I casted and then all of a sudden it switched? Like, you have, like, I'm sure this has happened, and you're like, I really don't give a shit, but I'm going to support you because it's your creativity. But, like, you have to have, like, this personality to be able to deal with the fact that, like, when you go fishing with that person, because you like to go outdoors and do stuff, but, like, it's different for Janelle, because in her mind, it's like, okay, how do I tell this story on video? It's not about, how do I catch this fish? How do I... It's like, for me today, I was fishing. I was ice fishing, and I was recording dudes snowboarding down the dam. Yeah, there's dudes snowboarding down over the dam.
you proposed. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, the
rocks?
The rocks?
How
They
much
were
snow was there?
There was like probably 6 inches.
They were wow.
I was actually videoing them because I was hoping they were gonna hit one of those bigger boulders and eat shit. I'll be fair. I was hoping they were gonna hit one because I know how that dam is constructed in the summertime, and I'm like, I don't know how they didn't hit some of those big So this is an like a man-made dam, and it's not like concrete, PJ. It's like a stone dam.
You gotta go
Earthen dam or whatever. So it's like got like chunks of slate and gravel and just like shit. Yeah. So
yeah, but that's the mountains and all. And then when you get
okay, so to your left, about 40 yards back is where I caught that brown. Literally, like right there. So these dudes were literally snowboarding. I was recording B-roll for that. And then this other couple came down with their dog. They had 3 dogs, and they were cross-country skiing, and one dog wouldn't cooperate. So I'm recording that because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'll use this with a music track in the background if I don't catch any fish today.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is I understand your plight of having her, like, stopping whatever you're doing to randomly record a bird on a branch for no goddamn reason other than the fact that she thinks that it's going to look cool on video later.
Or be like, babe, can you pass to that thing one more time? And they're like, no,
Yep.
not like that. Or, no, I wasn't ready. Or,
Yeah.
nah, the lighting's not right. Turn the boat. Do this. I love her, but she's in for it this year because I'm really trying to dedicate much attention, effort, into.
When we meet and fish together, I'm going to warn you, I have weird YouTube, like I flip into YouTube mode.
Well, you're already weird.
So I will literally be fishing, and then suddenly I'll be like, okay, guys, so what we're doing today is working a crankbait, and we're doing a stop-and-go retrieve, and then I go back to completely silent, and people are like, what the fuck just happened?
That's when you're going to see me, like, float by on the kayak, like, like in the background, going one way, and then going the other way.
To be honest, with the current relationship that we have, you're going to be like, you're doing it wrong! You're not going fast enough!
Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
You're using a medium heavy. You should be using a moderate action. What are you thinking?
There's no fish in this lake. Everybody knows it.
Yep. It's like, why are you fishing in a golf pond? This is not actually a lake. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have too much fun. That's the problem.
It's gonna be.
It's fun, right? With me.
Is that the right answer?
That's the right answer.
That looks sincere.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. She like literally walks into the room and we're like, "Hey, we're gonna fish out of a duck." So I mean,
you see how excited I was though, and she was like, "Okay."
Listen, you do you. I'll be in a kayak.
You'll be in the You'll be in the boat.
I'll be in a boat.
You'll be in a boat.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring the bass boat that way for safety. That way,
Yeah.
if
Safety.
the duck starts to go over the Waterbury Dam, then
You pull too hard on that thing, and it just.
She ripped the head off of one when she was tubing with her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
murdered it. Just like snapped its neck.
Hold on. So we like pulled off so we could like eat lunch and drink whatever, right? So like we're like pulling off, and I'm like, oh, the drinks. The drinks, they're important. Let me get the drinks. And I'm like pulling. The only thing that I have access to is this fucking turkey head, and I'm like, sorry, can I curse on this?
Yes, you can.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm like pulling on this fucking head, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta get it. And then suddenly it just deflates, and I'm like holding the poor fucking turkey head in my hands, like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm looking at the guy, and I'm like, I just shoved the turkey like in itself, and I'm like, it wasn't me.
What was it?
See,
was the drinks okay? I'm concerned about the drinks at this point in time. You know what I mean?
We all drank after that. It was fine. It was good. It was
Get them in. You know what I'm saying?
No, not that drunk, but you were fine.
It's moments like that is the reason why I bring a 20,000 milliamp battery and I never turn my camera off, because that's the kind of shit.
That's fucking hilarious, and you want to get.
I've had so many. One day, one of the funniest videos I ever had was I was sitting there fishing on the shoreline, and all of a sudden I just heard clapping, and I'm like, "What the hell?" This guy spent an hour and a half trying to scare geese off his beach. And he was like, go away. I told you don't come back. And then you would hear like, and then he would run down onto the beach. The geese would just get in the water just far enough away from him. And then as soon as he'd go back in the house, they would go right back up on his beach. And I'm just sitting there fishing, laughing my ass off, watching this guy herd geese for an hour and a half on his... And, like, you just see shit like that all the... Like, that's some of the funnest stuff you see is, like... I've actually literally heard what I think was a divorce one day.
Yeah.
Like, I was literally fishing, and I heard from across the water, "You son of a bitch!" And then I'm like, oh, I gotta... Like... I'm like,
start recording.
I'm literally like, I run 2 cameras for reason, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get that angle. Like, what dock are they on? Like, I'm trying to figure out like how I can capture the moment.
We should do like a video of like what it's like being a content creator who's trying to be like sneaky, like filming videos, like how like Dude Perfect does like the stereotypes of like all the different types of fishermen. We should be like the content creator who's like on the water but just rolls by with their camera like clearly filming you. Or like
I've seen some weird shit. Yeah. Like you go by, like I went by one day and there was these like, I actually seriously thought I was seeing something X-rated because these girls were doing like yoga on their front porch, but I could only see them from the waist up.
Good for you.
So like they were doing like, I like rolled by and I'm like glued to this because I'm a dude and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I see these girls doing weird leg bends and stuff, and then all of a sudden I hear like in the background just slightly like music, and then I like literally see them like roll up mats and walk away, and I was like, okay, that is not what I thought was going on. But you see like, multiple people do it. Like they actually did it one day on another lake. They were doing freaking yoga on paddle boards. Oh. You want to see a skilled individual? Watch them do those weird fucking yoga poses on paddle boards in the middle of the water.
They do that in Cleveland. I've seen that.
It is, and my dad was like, and the funniest thing I ever saw in the water, and you'll appreciate this one. One day I was on one shoreline, right, and I heard a loon. I know. Right, and I heard a loon on one side of the shoreline. And it was calling back and forth. And another loon was calling to it. It was two fucking adults on their separate docks on opposite ends of the lake. And they both thought they were talking to a loon. So this girl was standing on a dock and she was going, woo! And then like this fucking kid with no shirt on, like this chubby kid would run off the beach on the other side and go, oh, woo! And then, like, they were doing this for fucking 2 hours, back and forth. And, like, when I went by the lady, she was like, honey, I'm telling you, it's talking to me. And I'm like, the fucking kid's running out back and forth. And the kid, I think, knew it, because he was just running out on the beach. So these two people thought they were talking to a loon for, like, 2.5 hours back and forth. And it's that kind of shit that you can't get that anywhere else.
This kid is like, Janice is out again, quick!
Yeah.
Camera. Yeah. And the loons are literally in the corner just like...
Yeah, the loons are like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Oh my god, that's funny. That's a great story. That's a great...
That's the kind of shit that you see when you're, like, recording. And you get it. Unfortunately, again, that was one of those deals where I didn't get it all on camera, so I couldn't, I told the story, but I was like, it doesn't do it any justice. When you see this kid come running down the beach and then it's like, belt out this sound and then run back up to the camp.
Yeah, he knew. He knew.
He was. Like, every time he would run down, and it was just so funny, because he let out a wail every single time, and then that lady would come down off her camp, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Wow. But yeah, I've been attacked by beavers. I've been attacked by, like, oh yeah.
Geese. Geese are not cool either.
Geese? Did you know geese hiss? Have you ever heard of geese hiss?
Like a fucking snake.
It's weird.
I got hold on.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Story time. Let's go.
I was like 14. I was at the movie theaters, and across the highway was a Barnes & Nobles, and I was like, I'm gonna get to this fucking Barnes & Nobles. And I'm like at the movie theaters, and there's geese there, and I was like, fucking geese, right? And I'm like going at them like this, and they just fucking chase me straight, like fucking running towards me, hissing. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is up with this geese? So I'm like running towards the highway. There's fucking cars going, and I was like, I'm gonna get to the Barnes & Nobles, and there's a fucking goose chasing me.
Yep.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, I've literally had the same thing. I've been in my kayak, like, and good up on the shoreline, and yeah, it's the weirdest, like, it's not the sound you expect it to make.
And then their little tongues fucking flick out too, and I'm just like, bro, what the It's like a duck mated with a snake, and now they're just long-necked goose.
Yeah. My oldest found that out because he didn't know. So we were fishing, and they had, like, it was like right at the beginning of, like, when they just, like, that's what I call fluffy butts. Me and my wife call them fluffy butts. Baby geese are like the fluffiest goddamn thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like a name that my wife actually called them, and I kind of adopted it. But they had those like in tow, right? So literally, he goes up. My son goes up with his kayak, and he's fishing this dock, and he doesn't know. And of course, I'm a content creator, so I'm trying to line my kayak up so I can record this scene happening. And he gets up too close to those babies, and that mama comes down that dock and does the whole sound. And I'm like, and he goes, holy shit! And he's like paddling as fast as he can backwards. And he comes over and he goes, did you know they hiss? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, loons are actually, the loons up here. Have you ever seen, because you guys come up, you said in May?
Yeah, I don't see them.
There's places on lakes that they cordon off.
Mm-hmm.
They literally line these places off where their breeding areas are, and they put buoys and they mark them out, because if you get anywhere near a loon nesting area, they will physically attack you.
No, thank you.
They are that aggressive where they will come and attack you.
That's a loon for you. Interesting.
They're a dumb animal.
The best part though is, so the first, when I had my little blue kayak.
Oh, I expected her to go get something harder to have to deal with this conversation, but
Listen, I have to get up at
she
4
has
a.m.
work.
It's fine.
She's working.
Oh.
The first bass that she catches out of the kayak, she's she's like 100 yards, not maybe 100 yards away from me, and I got one, and I'm like, good job, babe, and I'm like, take a picture with it, and I see her get her phone out, and I'm fishing, whatever. We get done, I'm on the water. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I was like, let me see the picture. It's the fish and her shoe. Like,
I mean,
Like, I thought you wanted to see it, like, compared to size.
I was
I mean,
of you with the fish, babe. Like the selfie, not the other way around.
I mean, to be honest, at least she didn't do the, like, fake hold it up to the camera so it looks bigger thing. She's like, I have a size, this shoe, and this is the size of the fish. And
Exactly what I thought. I was like, this is comparison, I guess.
I was like, this is,
That's funny.
we were not even, like, a year in, and I was just like,
we were like 5 months in.
5 months in, and I was like,
Yep.
okay.
So I actually get yelled at for the way I take selfies of fish in my videos.
Why?
Because, so Bear, the guy I fish with a lot,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, the fish you catch are way bigger than
Oh,
it
yes.
looks, but because I'm so wide, it makes the fish look smaller. So he's like, dude, you got to stop holding the fish so close to your body because you make those fish look small. Because he's been fishing with me when I caught him. So
Yeah.
then, like, he sees the video later, he's like, dude, that fish was way bigger than it looked. But because when it comes into, like, between my man titties and my belly, it's not freaking, it doesn't look right.
You just have man titties.
Oh, yeah. I'm
They're
thinking about getting a training bra, but I haven't really decided
They're
yet.
moobs, man.
I actually have to do the deodorant under the tits because it actually bothers me.
I'm so sorry, dude.
Meanwhile,
See, PJ's like over here, like I don't know what to do.
to make it look humongous.
No.
Oh, so that girl I told you about that I was friends with. So we had a mutual friend that would constantly like try to like get her to send tit pics. So I literally did like this and sent it to her so she could send it to him so he'd stop asking her.
Send the big toe, man.
The funny part was my wife walked in on me and I was like, "Hey, can you take this picture? Because I need to send this to Cruz so she can send it to this guy so he'll stop asking her." So my wife took a tit pic of me pushing them together to try to create cleavage. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Love it.
EJ, I just want to give you like a shout out because you have to deal with this. And you've dealt with it for so much longer, and I don't even know what I'm in for now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it's gonna be an adventure for you.
Absolutely.
Just throwing that out there at you.
That's great.
Wow.
That's
I'm
great.
supposed to be the branding guy, and PJ's got it under lock already.
See, he's been taking notes on the side. That's funny. Yeah, it's. That's great. Any other questions? Has anybody had any? Because I can't see the conversation.
Um.
Does anybody? Well, I was just gonna say, does anybody have questions for me and my wife? But that could really open up.
I mean,
Is it?
I'll
possible-
censor them. If you guys got questions for Janelle or what?
That's
Now,
a
Live.
Now, some of these questions we're going to charge $5.99 for the first question and $1.99 for every additional question.
And 50 cents per answer.
Yeah. But, yeah.
That's great.
Because you are asking a bunch of dirty old fisherman questions that you probably don't want to have. But
I told you we can handle it, though.
yeah, it's...
But
I'm actually kind of glad she brought you on here, though, because now you get to, like, understand the person behind all the random text messages that she gets. Because the conversations on Instagram aren't really much different other than me trying to be like, hey, you should drive 6.5 hours to go fish for 2 hours and then drive 6.5 hours home.
And I'm like, I don't make that kind of money. Gas money. And like I told her because I was talking about the saltwater stuff. I was like, when I like go to the beach, like I'm gonna try to I'm gonna take the bus obviously because I have a beautiful rig. I'm gonna spend a few days. Like when I go on trips,
Right.
for the most part, I'm gonna try to get as much content as I possibly can, and I don't want to burn myself out. I have sensitive eyes, so when I drive at night, like sometimes headlights just are bad for me.
Yep.
So,
Especially when it rains.
Yeah, especially when it rains.
Yep.
And I just like I'm easy to fall asleep when I'm in a car. I'm just like cozy. So like after a long day, we've all had it where like we're driving, you're just like I don't want to risk that. So yeah, we've all
Not
been
on the
there.
bus. Yeah, not on
And
the
if
bus.
I don't have this one as my personal chauffeur, then I will just be like, listen, I'm gonna stay, wherever in the bus, and I'm just gonna crash here. Or like if I am driving a few hours, I want to dedicate more than just a day or half a day to fishing or exploring or whatever it is.
Yep.
So, and then she'll just have to deal with whatever on her own.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm literally taking a week in Pennsylvania.
I know.
I already told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go down and fish the Susky for a week. And she's like, actually, what's funny about that is actually I wasn't gonna take a week. I was actually going to only take 3 days. So I was gonna take 3 days to I was just gonna show up, like, pre-fish one day, fish the tournament, and come home. And my wife literally goes, why don't you just do the whole week then? And I was like,
You taking notes?
okay.
Never stop you.
I mean, to be honest, actually, no. To be fair, though, you are, like, I've already heard enough to understand the support that comes with it. Because I even said to Janelle, one of the first things I said to her was, give your wife my number. That way, if she's worried and you lose service, and I've actually talked to you, because that's happened to me with other fishing buddies, where, like, I was talking to them 20 minutes ago, and then their wife's like, have you heard from them? Because I can't get a hold of them because they're out of service. And I'm sure, PJ, you've run into that too. Like, sometimes your fishing buddies, you're together, and then you leave, you're out of service, and then all of a sudden, like, no one can get a hold of anyone, and everybody's worried, but you could just, like, text one of the buddies and be like, hey, where is this person at? And, like, having that person that's at home sucks, to be honest, because I will admit, I feel guilty a lot of times. Like, there's been a few trips that I wanted to do that I decided not to because it's like, I'm going to leave my wife at home to take care of the dogs, maintain the household, to go do my thing for a week. Like, it's kind of weird.
That's okay. Yeah.
But
And
You would
it's-
think I'd be responsible enough to do something like that, but nah, dude, I've never done that shit.
No?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
I've run out. Like, I've never had service, and my buddies haven't had service, and you think, like, one of us would, like, maybe text the other one's wife and say, like, hey, we're all good. But, it's just like, dude, I didn't have service for, like, 3 hours. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, me either. Oh, shit. Oh, well,
I had a
I'm
buddy
not
that...
responsible.
I had a buddy named Doug. I used to call him Dougie Fresh, and, like, his wife. So what's funny is, like, what's even funnier is that I had him as Dougie Fresh's wife. I had her on the phone. Like, that's how she came through my, like, truck was, like, new call from Dougie Fresh's wife. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then she's like, hey, have you heard from him? And I'm like, yeah, we just left the lake, like, 15, 20 minutes ago. He's probably like 10 minutes out. And like, I talked to her while driving home, and then she's like, okay, he's in the driveway, thank you. Like, I'd never met her, never had a conversation with her. I only had her phone number for emergency purposes. But it was like, I'm like literally calming down the wife, and then like he texts me later, he's like, thanks dude, because like she was freaking out. And like, that was within the same state.
Yeah. So you mean
like you're gonna be freaking,
You mean like having 10 firefighters going tubing and not one of them brings their fucking phone with them? Contact
Yeah, I
anybody,
heard this story.
And then your wife, fiance, were we married?
No.
Your fiance thinks you're dead. So she calls people that she's never met before, practically sending a whole search party out, and drives an hour and 15 minutes only to have their wife call and say, Did you talk to such and such? And I'm like, oh, you're alive?
That's funny.
And then I didn't even go see her. I just
Who
no.
brings their phone tubing is all I'm saying. Who brings their phone tubing?
That is, to be fair, yeah.
No, shut up. Shut up.
Thank you.
I turn around. She calls me and I said, I'm 2 minutes away from where you are. Shut up. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I'm turning around. I will see you at home. And I'm ordering food.
Yep.
And when she got home, it was like, hey. And I was like, don't eat this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could cause, okay? I was not going to bring my phone tubing where I could potentially lose it in the fucking Delaware. Like, I'm not doing it.
I don't care if you duct tape that thing to your leg and it's in 15 freaking Ziploc bags. Yeah, that's the level of crazy you're fucking dealing with.
I'm going tubing again this year. I'm not bringing my phone.
Oh my God, I'm chipping you in the middle of the night.
That's okay.
What?
That's funny.
No! It was
my
bad.
wife literally tracks me, so I put I lose my phone all the time, so I had her put the Google Find My Phone thing on her phone too, so she could track my phone to find it. And I forgot to message her one day when I get, because we have this we literally have these rules, I message her when I hit the boat ramp, and I message her when I get back to the boat ramp. So no joke, I forgot to message her one day, and I ended up messaging her once I got back into service, and she's like, that's fine, I already knew where you were because I was tracking your phone with the Android app. And I was like, well, then why do I have to message you anymore?
That's fine if you have your phone on you.
That's
Mike.
true.
If you don't, and it's just in the same parking lot all day long.
Well, so
I didn't
know I'm alive in the.
I didn't even have her location. I had to call her best friend and be like, and then she was like, oh, this is where she is. And I was like, I guess I'm driving there. And she was like, okay.
You didn't have to drive there. You knew that I was somewhere.
Son of
so, to be fair, to maybe help with this argument, I'm pretty sure air tags are waterproof. You could just air tag her and have her wear that down the roof.
Again, Android family over here. Also,
there's Google tags. I shouldn't tell you.
There is Google tags. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna find there's gonna be tags sewn into your clothes and
No, I heard that real quick.
Listen. All I'm saying is a little more communication on what the F is going on and updates, and I'm fine, ho. But if not...
Did you call me a hoe?
I called
on the internet, too, on top of it.
She's my hoe. It's fine. I'm her hoe. It's fine.
Fair enough.
That was the last straw, because this one is not great with updates. Her family is not good with giving information of any sorts or nothing. So when that happened, and I was I called two guys that were on her old fire shift, and another guy who is he's a cop, so he was checking scanners and reports to make sure that nothing bad happened on the river where she was. I'm not kidding. I was like, listen, no. I was like, listen, I love you, but I draw the line here because this was serious. It's funny now because you were okay. But those
it was funny then too.
But those 6 hours of not knowing, panic, that's real. You know what I mean? I was like, you got to do a little bit better so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I've tried to, because of that event where I've had situations where I fished way longer. I actually got so dehydrated on the water one day that I was losing track of time. You being a firefighter, you probably know the actual medical part of it, but I was so dehydrated that I was blacking out. I was there, but I wasn't there. So I lost track of time. I actually woke up in my truck at the boat ramp, had loaded my kayak and everything, and didn't remember doing any of it.
I'll kill you. That shit.
So we started setting more of a I plan on being there for this time to this time. This today, for example, I was fishing Waterbury Reservoir. I'm fishing by the dam, 100 yards off the dam. I give those kind of details because then she at least knows where to start.
It's a lot of details. I'm not giving you that many.
But
You heard that. You heard that. It's a lot of details. She's not giving me that many.
I'll tell you where I am. That's about it.
You know, you're lucky I trust you, but God, I want to strangle you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's marriage. I want
the funny part about this conversation is the person who's about to drive around the country at a bus by herself is giving the wife shit about going tubing. Like I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Like
Thank you.
devil's advocate, but the amount of liquor that was also consumed on
Fair
this
enough.
tubing trip.
But you didn't know that.
Yes, I did. yes, I
Yeah.
did.
It's 10 firemen, of course. It's 14.
I was gonna say there's 10 firemen going tubing. Yeah, there's probably liquor involved.
There was 16 of you, and not one of you had a phone.
No. We're there to relax. We're there to have fun, drink, talk, laugh.
Here's all I said. I said, put the phone again. Get a waterproof case. Turn it off. I don't care. But like,
So what good will it do?
midway through the day, just send me a message like, okay, like, hey, the float,
Yeah.
like, you know, halfway point, like, I'm peeing by a tree. I don't care. Something so that I know, okay, she's all good. The group's good. I'll hear from her again. Hey, just got off the water. Good. Cool. Like, I send her, like, she'll be texting me. I'll just be like, hey, Google, like, send Soraya a car emoji. So she
Yep.
knows I'm driving. That's all. And then
Okay.
she'll be like, okay, got it. Love you. Drive safe.
All right, I'm gonna dig myself a little bit deeper. So she was with 16 EMT trained individuals.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be as concerned. Like she was with 16 of the people you would call if she was in danger.
Okay.
And hold on.
Drunk or not, I mean.
Me and Jimmy are both rescue swimmers.
You're talking about 16 individuals that are off the clock.
Still, if something happened,
No.
They're like, fuck
They don't-
no, I'm not
they don't. Yeah,
I've heard
true,
her be
but
like, oh, I see something going on. I kind of want to help,
Nah.
but
yeah.
If it's an active fire, I'll like do like if it's a car fire, I'll do something. But other than that,
Yeah, actually, are you required to like at all, or is that like? Because I know like doctors are required to provide aid if they need to or something, but
if I'm in uniform or if I have anything identifying me as a firefighter or an EMT, then yes. But sorry.
okay. If not, you're not. Okay.
If not, no. Because who's gonna know?
Well, see, Vermont has like weird Good Samaritan laws.
Yeah. So if
So
you hurt
like,
somebody, then you don't get. No, I'm gonna get my fidget spinner. It's over there. Sorry. Sorry.
she has been.
No, you're
first
fine.
of all, started with a spoon, and I gave her this. Then she was playing with this on my phone, and I'm like, babe, you're shaking this whole fucking
That's
table.
so you can't see it because I've gotten really good at it, but I've been tapping my foot against the wall for like the last 45
She's
minutes.
doing that,
like,
but
yeah.
because the laptop's on the table,
Yeah,
it's
it's
shaking.
shaking.
And before I was playing with the headphone cord until I realized you guys could see that I was playing with the headphone cord, and then I was like,
Gotcha.
we can't see
Yeah, no, I asked that because like in Vermont, like we don't have, there's no such thing as like full-time firefighters here. It's all volunteer. Burlington's it, yeah. Other than that, everything else is volunteer. And, like, even volunteer is, like, weird because, like, a lot of the volunteers don't go because their jobs won't let them. Like, they can go, and they can't be fired, but they also don't have to get paid. So, like, they get, like, the stipend from the volunteer, which is, like, doesn't even cover their gas to get to the firehouse to get to the engine. Like, it's not worth it. So I just didn't know if like being like actual full time, if you were like required to, because I know like my wife's studying to be a nurse, and like eventually when she gets an actual nursing degree, if she saw somebody in a medical like situation, she has to actually intervene. But
That's what this one says to me yesterday. I might want to be a nurse too.
Per diem nurse.
so no, actually, to be honest, that could help you a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
No, seriously, here's why. If she becomes a traveling nurse, she gets paid. They cover your housing, your travel, and usually a rental vehicle, and then you just follow her in the bus and fish while she's working. No joke.
But I don't want to be a full-time nurse. I want to be a full-time firefighter and just per diem nurse.
And she also
Okay.
wants to be a chef, and she also wants to be a mechanic, and she also
No, I want to be a home, like my own cars.
she also wants to work on her own cars.
Yeah, not a
Well, mechanic would be good too, because she could help you with the bus.
I know,
I'm
but if
already
she's
helping with
with
the bus.
me,
See how much I'm trying to, like, you know.
listen, I love her with all of my heart and soul, but sometimes it's fine.
Yeah.
Glove.
Hold on, I will be back.
You'll be
Ow.
back. She's getting a fidget spinner.
I am. I have to.
But I do want to say, like, thank you to anybody who's listening or whoever.
Anybody who's still here after
Anybody that is
3.5
still here.
hours.
I do want to say thank you to the men and women who are, who have served our country, who EMS, first responders,
Absolutely.
all of you. Thank you so much. And then another thank you to all of the people that deal with our bullshit. Spouses, family, friends, supporters. No, I don't. You guys are amazing. So stay safe and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we probably, honestly, I didn't realize it's 9:30 and I'm getting up at 6
Yeah, bud.
to go fishing.
Yeah. Look,
I'm actually probably going to go live tomorrow. You should watch my live tomorrow if you're bored.
What time?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet. Me and Bear are literally going to go live from our own YouTube channels in the shack and, like, sit there and... Basically, our goal is, like, literally go live and then trash talk each other while we're in his fishing shanty. We're basically going to, like, just talk shit to each other and fish from his fishing shanty while we're bored.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I roll.
Yeah, we're gonna eat ice cream cake and go to bed.
That sounds good to me.
Actually, I'm probably gonna look at more saltwater fishing stuff. You're gonna go to bed, and then I'll be in bed.
Perfect. So I won't message you.
PJ, are you yawning right now? You
No,
son
no. I'm just holding back right now.
Why? Because of the snuggling? What?
No, I have to use the bathroom.
He's...
On that note,
If we end it now, you can go.
I was gonna say, yeah. So thank you, everybody, because everybody has plans between cake, peeing, and sleeping, so we're all going to bail out, and we will catch you guys next time. If you haven't already, check out her channel. I'm going to put a link in this video description if you're watching this after the fact. Probably should ignore the current podcast up there because it's pretty much everything that we covered in this 3.5 hours. But if you really want to watch it, you could. We might have covered something we didn't cover in here, because believe it or not, we don't know each other that well, other than a 3.5 hour conversation. Other than this, but same personality. But yeah, we're gonna end the stream right here, guys, and we will be back in a couple of weeks.
thank you for having me, dude.
No problem.
DJ, it was lovely to meet you.